Okay, so did Corrie deliver this week for our 600th birthday anniversary episode spectacular? Was it a good one?
It was okay.
It was okay this week in Corrie. It started well, didn't it? Monday's episode was fantastic.
You could chart the highs and lows.
Yes, as always. I was kind of hoping that it would be a consistently fantastic week, but I wouldn't say there are any episodes there that I didn't enjoy at all. So I think we might be able to keep it a bit more positive this week compared to the moan fest that was the beginning of last week's Stu Talk. Sorry about that, everybody.
No.
But honestly, Monday's episode I really loved. You know that Gemma loves her Halloween stuff, and it was all spooky and Halloweeny on Monday.
Scary.
But it just felt like, the script was
good.
Sparkling, and there was lovely little friend moments.
It was funny though, because
I
did go online and saw a few people going, "Oh, that was rubbish. That's absolutely rubbish. Why are they doing this, that and the other thing?" I was like, no, it was clearly one of the best episodes they've had in ages, because it's just a normal episode where people were talking to each other.
It was, and a bit of extra of Halloween.
To prove to you that there's literally nothing they can ever do.
Nothing's going to please absolutely everyone, but this one pleased us, so that was the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And we never talk about how we're enjoying the episodes while they're on. We just wait until we're doing the shorts, don't we? And then we kind of reveal it there. And it was nice that we both were seeing no, you don't, but we just don't. I generally don't know what you think about an episode until we record the little shorts.
It'd be rather weird if we were just in the middle of watching it and you went, must say, wife, that I'm rather enjoying this televisual programme. What a great presentation of the lives of the Weatherfield residents this has been.
We clearly like the same things, and we don't like the same things as well, which is why when the Stu and Eliza story reared its ugly head midway through the week, it did kind of lose a few points. But
imagine what would make that story good.
I think it just needs to open up a little bit, and I don't mean like a virus suddenly spreading and infecting the whole street, but it is very. I'm going to say that number 6, that Stu, Yasmin, and Eliza are the new Baileys, in that they're having a little story, little pocketed off from everybody else. Everybody else realises it's a little bit dull, and they're like, you get on with your story over in number 6, you three. I think that might help it, or maybe if an ending could help it as well. I'm not really sure.
I think it'd be fun if Eliza accidentally kills Dom.
Yeah, Dom comes round next with a black eye as Alf, and she was like, where'd you get that then? And
why is
Dom's like, I don't want to say, and it's actually Eliza.
Why is one of your fingers missing, man?
I know. And
Eliza's there just picking her nose with it.
With the Halloween stuff, we said you wanted to start positive, and straight go to the negatives. You are a connoisseur of Halloween.
Yeah.
Anything in particular about the Halloween? Any particular costumes stand out for you this week?
Oh, I love Maria's one.
I thought Maria was good.
Can I just say though, she was totally fishing for compliments. She comes in looking stunning. She's like, my costume's rubbish. I feel like shut up. You look beautiful. Look at you. Look how gorgeous you are. And that is also a great outfit and a cool costume.
I think that Maria's costume was actually possibly the best there.
I'm going to say so too.
For a side character who didn't actually need to be there and was just filling up her episode count, she did a good job. She scrubbed up nicely.
And wasn't Gary Frankenstein's monster?
Yeah.
It was green. Yeah. Do you think he was doing that in solidarity of Ryan?
I think he was doing it in solidarity of Leo, who was colouring himself in green.
No,
that's the other thing we did at a Halloween party, wasn't it? We had a Leo cake. No, go on. No, sorry. No. I'm going to drink my tea. You've got to talk.
I was just going to say that maybe he was sat in the makeup chair for a bit with Ryan going, I'll sit here while you get your scars put on, mate. And then he kind of was like, this is actually crap, isn't it? I don't know why. Why did you agree?
I liked, I think Mary was great. Mary was...
at one point she had a thing on her shoulder and then it disappeared.
Yeah, I think she had a couple of costumes. I can't remember what else she was.
I thought she was Mary, Queen of Scots.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe.
Or Queen.
But I thought
she wasn't. She's missing a trick.
I thought that she was great with thing on her shoulder. It was just always. I like Ryan and Daisy's costumes. Well, Daisy had her sexy Catwoman outfit on, didn't she? Kind of the lacy.
Mask. Oh no,
that's such
a poser outfit.
I know that. Are you one of these people, I can't remember, that says that for a Halloween costume it's got to be a scary thing, and not just a sexy thing or just a normal costume?
This was the great conversation that they were having. Was it who was having this conversation about sex? It was Bernie.
Oh yeah, that was great.
This was what made this episode so much fun for me, because Bernie was talking about Christmas, sorry.
I'm
sorry, I'm very seasonal.
It's the adverts. They've infiltrated your mind.
Yeah, she was talking about how you can adapt anything to be a sexy or a scary something or other.
Zombie. Was it
zombie? Yeah. And so she's like,
sexy paramedic. Zombie paramedic.
Yeah, I just love that. That was great.
It was a really nice little hook that just carried on a little bit through the episode. Yeah. It worked really, really well. I agree with Bernie
about the zombie thing, but I would argue that I don't want sexy anything at Halloween. Why are we doing it? Put your tits away.
Sorry that I went as Stephen Reed.
Sexy Stephen Reed. Or zombie Stephen Reed.
I suppose it was.
We don't want to see it. It's not interesting. You can be sexy anything you want any time of year. The rest of the year, Halloween is only for scary.
Only for scaries. It was, and we had Hope she had like bloody face and kind of hair all over the place. Yeah. What was Sam? I can't remember.
Was he a sexy astronaut?
I think he might have been a zombie astronaut. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. But they both look very, very cute together, those two.
One day someone's going to die in space and be the first zombie astronaut.
Yeah.
That's quite macabre, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got like as our 8th story to talk about this week, the Hope and Sam story. But actually, they had about 2 scenes of just turning up to the bistro together.
And his mum died.
Yeah, and she tries to talk to him about his mum, and he's not really into it. So that was the Hope and Sam story. That's why
I don't think that Jude Riordan can complain that we didn't include Natasha in our lineup.
Oh gosh, I feel so bad about this. So we did this live stream on YouTube earlier this week where we ranked all of the Corrie kills according to how grisly they were, and then I posted the tier list on Twitter afterwards, and within minutes Jude Riordan had replied saying, I don't see Natasha there. Where's my mum? I'm sorry. I was going to miss one.
She wasn't on the on-screen deaths section, so it doesn't count.
But we've got a few other ones on our list that weren't on-screen deaths either. She was absolutely deserved to be there, so I apologise.
I disagree.
Natasha, for forgetting you. Everybody loves Natasha. Whenever you see anybody, sort of Coronation Street forums and subreddits and whatever can be total slag off fest, but whenever the subject of Natasha comes up, everyone says how wonderful that character was and how Corrie was so wrong to kill her off. I don't get it.
I think people have got short memories.
I don't think they do. There's just something about Natasha that everyone seems to think is amazing.
She's a fantastic actress and she's very charismatic, but I'm going to draw the line there.
I just didn't find her character interesting in the slightest.
One thing that was we're going to talk about Halloween and then move on. Right?
Yeah, okay.
So another thing that was good was Mary going woo under the sheet.
Oh yeah, she was funny. She was
and
a
also,
ghost at one
I liked
point.
it when she came over when they're like, oh, go and have some Halloween fun with them. And she went over and they were talking about something inappropriate and she's like, no, I don't think I think I'll leave it.
Oh yeah, that
and
was
also
funny.
the mannequins. I'm surprised that didn't turn into something more. But
did somebody mention that it was a bit Doctor Who? I've got a feeling that somebody
it was Daisy.
Nice.
And
it was
everyone
a bit
was saying
Auton-like, wasn't it?
That it was very unusual that Daisy knows about Doctor Who.
Well, Daisy's got many hidden depths.
She's not a nerd.
She knows how to use apostrophes and everything.
Well, she's very unusual then, isn't she?
So it was very, very well done for
festive.
Halloween. Corrie doesn't do that very often, do they? I mean, they obviously had the Coronation Street a few years ago. 20 years ago, we had the big Halloween fest in the road. Yeah. Was it 20 years ago? I can't remember. See, you'll know if you watch the classic Coronation Streets, but generally I just listen to the audio of the classic Coronation Streets in the shower, and I'm thinking that the Halloween thing they had this week was when they were all dressed up, but I didn't get to see it. But yeah, it's generally not
so you're telling me they didn't go, the residents arrive at the Rovers. They're all wearing Halloween costumes.
I can't remember. I do have the audio description on. I don't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a rare thing indeed. But I enjoyed it.
All it was a community event.
Yeah.
And that's what we want on Corrie. We want a community event.
Yeah. I agree, and a proper reason to dress up in fancy dress, because I always moan about them dressing up in fancy dress in Coronation Street, but that's because they just often seem to do it at random times.
Maybe we're out of touch and people do like dressing up more than we think they do.
I don't know.
Because I think there are certain groups of people that will dress up. You know, like we like when we stag and hen do's, people like to dress up for those, and we didn't, did we? You dressed up as a hiker.
Yeah.
Because you went up.
We were going to go up a mountain for my stag do, but it was raining. Wow. So we got there and went, nah, and then went back.
I
had a wild time on my stag do, me and 2 other people.
That's worse. That's like the worst stag do story I've ever heard.
Gemma, what did you do for your hen do? You went to the Ritz.
I went to the Ritz for afternoon tea.
Gemma had a proper hen do.
And I went, hang on, no, let me tell you. I got my hair and makeup done.
We'll get to Corrie in a minute.
In a vintage makeup place. And I have to tell you, I looked absolutely banging. I give myself 5 out of 5. Went and had brunch in an American diner. Then we went shopping in Harrods. Then we went to afternoon tea at the Ritz. And then we went to karaoke. And it was brilliant.
Yeah. And we drove a very long way up to Scotland. Got
Did
rained
you? I thought you
on.
went to Wales.
No, we didn't go to Wales. We went to Scotland.
I do like Scotland. Anyway,
that was a bit of a misery. Anyway, you don't want to know about that. So, this week's Coronation Street, we're going to start by talking about the Ryan and Cheaton story, which certainly ramped up this week. And then the Court out story, because Court is now out of Aadi's life. And then she came back again, and now she's gone again. And
like
I thought it was building up to something more exciting than actually
where she comes back, she has to be shot on the head to go.
The Papa Dom story, of course, was in it this week. Hooray. Yeah. Tim gets his tackle out. That was a great thing on Monday's episode, wasn't it? That was fantastic.
Good
and
acting.
You actually praised Tim on Monday's Street Talk Shorts as well. Oh, you praised Joe Duttine. So by proxy, Tim was included in there just a little bit. But that was fab. Dylan delivering, I don't know. Dylan's got a paper round, everybody. Oh, I can't wait to talk about that one.
I don't like
There was a little bit more of the P-Terminator story, slight bit of the Ed Gamble, and like I said, we got the Hope and Gory story, which we've already talked about.
A P-Terminator sounds like some kind of premature baby delivery device invented in Victorian Britain that usually kills the baby.
Well, it's not. Would you like me to tackle the Ryan and Cheaton story?
Well, yeah, it sounds like you want to.
Yeah, I will. I will. You know, I've been a bit down on this whole Ryan and Daisy stuff the last month or so, but it was. I thought it was good this week. I liked it. Apart from Lauren, I really don't know what Corrie wants us to think about Lauren. It kind of is feeling like we're supposed to be sorry for her still, but I just can't. I can't do it, and I don't know now whether anything can happen.
No, you're going to feel
for me to feel bad for Lauren. Like, she whinges and whines and cries and says, "Oh, my life's terrible, Ryan. You're my only friend." I'm like, I don't
all this
care,
money, all this money that she's collecting, Michael. What she does is she gathers it up and she chews it, and stores it in her cheeks. And she goes down to the canal and there's a little abandoned pregnant dog there who's about to give birth to puppies, and she goes and feeds from her cheeks all the wodged up cash and nurtures the pregnant dog. And then you're going to get to see her birth, and it will be a litter of all beautiful different favourite designer dog breeds that everybody loves. Like, there's going to be a pug, there's going to be another Whippet, there's going to be a Saint Bernard, there's going to be a golden retriever. You're going to feel like, and there will be one cat. Oh, okay. Just for diversity, and you're going to feel like a right mug.
So, but anyway, Ryan is also narky at Lauren at the beginning of Monday's episode because of the whole blackmail stuff last week, and he's got to go to work because he needs to go and earn some money because he owes money.
What do you think that she's getting this money for?
We still don't know.
It's got to be something that tugs at the heartstrings. It's not going to be.
We've said every week that it's going to be something like. It's been 3 weeks now, I think, that we've said.
It's going to be something. It's got to be something that really, really makes you feel bad for her. Is she being blackmailed herself? Although she was on the phone to somebody, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And they were kind of, I can't remember what she was saying to them about the fact that she's got to give them the money.
I don't remember.
Is it she's supporting a victim of her father's crimes?
It's
going to be something really dull and virtuous, isn't it? Like,
I think so.
I've got a subscription to a food bank.
Anyway, Ryan turns up at the Bistro and says, "Look, you need help with the music at the hotel at the Halloween do."
Improbably virtuous, because it's not bad to support food banks.
You can be virtuous.
I'm just saying, like, I don't believe for a second that Lauren's going to do anything altruistic. Do you? No.
Probably not.
Sorry.
So, anyway, Ryan's going to have to be on a shift with Daisy, even though they've been trying to avoid each other, but he's just got to get as much cash as he can at the moment.
Some
so it
might
looks
say
like they're going to have to mingle with each other tonight.
They're like magnets in that
they're attracted to each other.
Wow.
That's what they were saying. Ryan says, look, Ryan spends most of the evening trying to get to Daisy and say, look, we need to talk about what's going on with us. He's just like, he was being a little bit stalky himself on Monday night, wasn't he?
See, I want to say, the thing about magnets is that if you turn them, they repel one another. And that might be part of the metaphor.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Really think so?
Because once they turn, they'll hate each other.
If they both turn, though, then they just bumstick together.
Well, I've heard that can be a problem.
Anyway, she didn't want to talk about it, and he just said, who do you want to be with? You want to be me, sexy Ryan, or Daniel? Make up your mind, love. Bit later on, Ryan sees some notifications pop on Lauren's phone. This didn't really go anywhere, did it? It looks like she's on Ovids now, even though she's only 17.
Well, it's part
she's
of this
turned content
story
provider.
That she is destitute because she's being forced to give money for some reason.
Yeah, but so Ryan feels guilty that he's inspired her to take her clothes off in front of the world.
I tell you what, she could have got the idea from anywhere, Ryan. I wouldn't flat yourself.
Yeah. Anyway, she tells him to bog off and locks herself in her room because she's so ashamed or something. I don't know. And he's like, look, Lauren, it's against the law. You're underage. She just doesn't care. She needs the money. And he's trying to make her see sense, and they have a little scene about this and saying, "Oh no, I don't do what I do. I know you think it is. Oh, you're in control now, but tell you what, Lauren, it's going to take you some dark places, and you'll be on the front of the TV mags and everything. You don't want to do it."
What I was going to say, if you're saying, "Oh, it's so dark. You're underage. It's illegal." What he needs to do is say to her, "Listen, you can spin this and make more money by doing a countdown to your birthday." It was all the rage when it was Emma Watson. Do you remember?
I certainly do. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
He says, "Look, I'm gonna go." He's going to report her, but she says that if he does, then she's going to go and tell Ryan about Daniel about him and Daisy.
Oh no.
Does he go?
I love blackmail stories. Aren't they great? Aren't they brilliant and so interesting?
Just a weekly blackmail. Ryan goes and tells Daisy about this, and she's worried about the truth about the pair of them coming out. Ryan says, "Look, the last thing I want to do is hurt you, Daisy, even if it means you're staying with Daniel." Look,
Ryan's so dumb. Honestly, Ryan needs to blow up that relationship, and then he gets Daisy. Why is he being so stupid? I don't get it.
So they go hunting for Lauren before she goes and tells Daniel about what's going on between them, and she's actually at Daniel's having some very apt literature being read.
Great Gatsby.
Was it? Well, it strikes me that no one in Coronation Street has ever read a book that isn't somehow related to their story. You know?
Yeah,
literally,
true.
I don't think anyone's ever discussed anything where someone's not having secret, "Oh, this is just like what's going on in my life."
But literature, great literature, Michael, can speak to everybody.
Yeah, it's
always so relatable.
It's just a little bit too...
Nobody on that... No, yeah, I don't think anyone's read To Kill a Mockingbird on that street, have they? Who's locked in the cellar?
I want them to read some sci-fi or something. It's just a...
War of the Worlds. Oh no, I Am Legend. I've been reading this book about a man. Oh no, I can't give away the secret, can I? I'll keep my mouth shut because that's a good book. You should read
imagine
that.
if they were reading War of the Worlds and then just in the window
it's not
behind
a book,
them.
though, is it? It's a radio play.
No, it came from a book.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I've read it.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, I'm literate.
Go on.
Just imagine, and then these giant tripods come walking down the cobbles behind them.
And then Sam goes, "Don't worry, I know what to do."
Yeah, just sneeze on him. Anyway, so...
Spoiler.
Right, Daisy's trying to get rid of Lauren. She comes up with some story about, "Oh, look, Roy owes you some money, Lauren." Clearly it's code for, "I'm going to give you the money you're blackmailing for if you just bog off. Don't tell Daniel, please, please, please." So Lauren continues the code by upping the amount she claims she's owed by Roy from £200 to £500.
Yeah, so this is when... So, yeah, Daniel and Daisy are doing this... studying when Daisy comes in and then Lauren starts. Yeah, I know. I didn't really. I'm just making sure everyone knows. And then Daniel goes.
They watched it.
And
probably.
Daisy and Lauren are left alone. And then she says, because you're drinking your tea, that she's that sleeping with Ryan was a mistake, and she insinuates that Lauren's made plenty of mistakes herself. And I love Daniel. I'm not going to break his heart. I thought you were going to.
No, I don't know where you got to on the notes now. Lauren says, "Oh, look, I'm not going to tell Daniel, don't worry, but I hope somebody does because he's better off without you."
Do you think there's a bit of jealousy there between... Do you think that... Oh, God, no. Oh, God, Lauren's not going to fancy Daniel, is she? Oh, please.
If it could happen.
Oh.
Although...
I'll tell you what I would like to see. I want I wanted
not the first
I wanted to go
student
for
that's
a
fancied
French
Mr. Osborne.
GCSE and start falling in love with Ken when he teaches her French. He's still got it, baby. He still knows all the French vocabulary you could ever want.
So anyway, she ends up going, and then that's all of it. Anything in this story that involved Lauren, I didn't find particularly interesting this week. But then we get to the Halloween party, which is very fun.
Well, yeah, Lauren comes in and Ryan's telling her, move out, I don't want to live with you anymore.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but the rest of it's good. It's basically just Ryan hunting...
I'm skip through
it's fine.
The irrelevant parts.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well,
I'm just saying Ryan's hunting down Daisy for most of the evening, so trying to say, look, we need to talk about it. And she's like, no, she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to confront the fact that she's torn between two men, but eventually she agrees to go into the back room of the bistro
with Ryan
and do dark
and Daisy.
deeds. Yes, thank you. So they meet up in the back, and he says, "Look, I know you said you wanted to stay with Daniel, but deep down," and then he goes to kiss her, and she pulls away. Somebody could see, she says. You were expecting like Debbie to walk in through the other door, weren't you?
So they made such a big point of showing you the fact that there were two doors in this office, and I'm not sure that we knew that there were two doors. Or it wasn't, it wasn't obvious to me before there were two doors. And they kept showing them kissing with the door in the background, like, hey. I think Coronation Street's got this fetish for extraneous doors at the moment. Because they've got these flats with two doors in them that people don't use one of them, even though it would be very handy in several points for them to use that extra door.
Like in a video game, isn't it? When you're wandering around, it's like, there's a door, no, locked. There's another one, locked. Oh, okay.
It's like Resident Evil.
Yeah. Anyway, so they start having a bit of a snoggeroo session, don't they? But meanwhile, Daniel comes into the bistro and he's kind of looking around for Daisy, and he sees her coming out of the room later, and Ryan. Yeah, exactly. And he's looking a bit suspicious.
He's like, I am trying to put something together here.
He thinks
also, Debbie sees this is going on too.
Yes. So that's kind of the end of Monday's episode, and I was thinking that it was all kind of quite sexy, and
you keep saying sexy about this.
Well, no, I
don't like this word from you.
I just
about a woman cheating on her.
I just felt the spark a lot more in that episode, and I don't know whether it was the costumes or the dark light
to describe any relationship on Corrie ever.
Haven't I?
No.
Well, I guess they must have done a good job with it. Anyway, Wednesday's episode.
To get your hormone levels checked or something.
And in much the same way that nobody ever reads a book on Coronation Street without it having some deeper meaning about what the characters are going through. No child has ever drawn a picture in Coronation Street without it making somebody who's depicted in the picture feel bad in some way.
Yeah, that's why you shouldn't let them draw.
This time it's Bertie who's drawn a picture of their happy family, of him and Daisy and Daniel, and Daisy's like, oh no, I've cheated on Daisy.
Oh no, I'm ruining the family picture.
Yeah, basically.
I've made this child's drawing obsolete.
But anyway, Ryan, I forgot to say this, the previous night had said to Daisy, look, why don't we get a hotel together, and then we don't need to worry about people bursting in on us or anything like that. And Daisy has gone along with that, so she's telling Daniel, I know what a harlot, on Wednesday's episode, that she's gonna go and stay with her mum because she's kind of sniffing around and wants to rebuild bridges and stuff. So Daniel has got no reason to disbelieve her really at the moment, but as the episode goes on, his curiosity and suspicions are certainly aroused. So in the cafe later, Daniel's there with Lauren and saying, oh, you're really clever, you've got so much potential, you're going to smash this English GCSE, and Max joins in with this, and he bets her £20 that she can get a grade 6, whatever that is.
I'm just looking this up.
Is that good? Is that like a C?
It's a high grade B.
Oh, really? I wouldn't want to bet that with Lauren.
Why did they change it? I don't understand why they changed it.
People get letters for grades.
It's so confusing.
Oh, well. So, Debbie comes visiting Ryan later
Apparently, A star is now an 8 and a 9.
Okay.
So you can get even higher than a normal A star.
Well, what do you know? So, Ryan is visited by Debbie later, and apparently someone's holding the Sweet 16 at Chariot Square at some point, and she offers him a DJ gig. She notices that he's packed a bag, And he admits about going to this hotel room with Daisy, and so that they can have some space for themselves. Debbie looks like she's going to be against it, but then she's like, oh, you know me, I'm hardly one to judge. We've all done it, haven't we, love? And says, why don't you come to Chariot Square Hotel? You can go in here for a discount. So Ryan's like, sorted, and decides to go along there. Jenny is also in with this secret. She comes around to see Daisy at the flat. What's all this about your mum sniffing around, eh? You don't have to go along with this just because you're a nice person. And then Daisy starts blubbing, oh, I'm not a nice person, I'm having an affair, oh no. How sorry did you feel for Daisy this week and her, you know, feeling that she's spiralling out of control here and can't really do anything and is genuinely torn between two people?
What?
Daisy, how did you feel about Daisy? Did you feel sorry for her this week?
No, not really.
Do you want to expand on that?
I don't know that everyone's doing a really good job, but I don't buy her. I don't buy a connection to either of them. Really? No.
But she's got to go between. She's got to have one or the other. Your poll says so.
She's going to end up with neither.
I would feel more sorry for Daisy if... It's not exactly it's reminding me a little bit of Sarah Louise, because earlier in this year, she could have said no to Damon many times and just, you know, drawn a line under it and said, look, we're not going there. Yep, there's some kind of attraction between us. We've got some chemistry, but no, I'm with Adam. That's the end of it. But Sarah was kind of being a bit flirty in her rebuffals, wasn't she? She was like, oh no, Damon, me, no, never. But Daisy is kind of very genuinely feeling like she really, really, really doesn't want to go there and she can't help it. It doesn't necessarily feel like she's leading him on. Ryan's the one that's pestering, I feel, and Daisy... Don't you feel that Ryan's being a bit of a pest? And he kind of needs to leave her alone. He's the one that's insistent, oh, we love each other, I love you, it's fate.
He's very confident, isn't he, about their feelings for each other. And Daisy's talking about her, she's really acting like there's some great love of the ages between her and Ryan. Like when she describes it to Jenny, she's sort of saying, oh, you know, I'd walk through fire for him and all this stuff. But I also love Daniel, and it just makes me think: are you just like, oh, I'm so comfy with Daniel, and he provides everything I want? I always go back to that initial thing of her being a bit of a gold digger with the whole house thing.
I do wonder whether at the end of this she's going to have neither of them.
I think that would that would be
that'd be just
perfect justice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But no, I feel if Ryan wasn't so insistent, would Daisy be able to resist and just go back to a happy normal life with Daniel?
She wanted to move away, didn't she? Both Ryan and Daniel have kind of, on Daniel's part accidentally, conspired to make it so that she can't escape the proximity with Ryan. And it's like she's kind of like physically addicted to being around him. Whereas Daniel, she's got this kind of like a deep... Well, there's kind of like this superficial kind of really sexy hot love that she feels for Ryan. And then this also kind of family like comfort that she feels with Daniel.
And in a way she's just kind of maturing, isn't she? And I think she's always been one for the kind of sexy hot love.
No, but she's going after Ryan.
Well, no, she's realised a part of her is thinking, maybe it's time that I want to settle down now. And she does have poor old Bertie in this. I think she's obviously got real affection for him. And when he was drawing that picture and tugging at her little heartstrings on Wednesday's episode, I felt really bad for her. We know that Daisy really loves kids, and she's got a ready-made family here. She had a tough upbringing, didn't she, with Mr. Midgley and Christina, at loggerhead some of the time, and she, in a way, I think she would just like a lovely, happy family setup that's different to what she used to have, but also she likes to be a bit sexy and flirty and naughty, unfortunately.
I don't feel much. I'm not feeling like I'm on Daisy's side here, which is obviously where you're supposed to be.
I am a little bit more. I've been quite down on Daisy, as you know, for the last month or two, but I am genuinely feeling her, you know, the fact that she's trapped, and that she wants to give up Ryan, but he's like, you know, he's an addiction. Is he still going on? Speaking of which, is he still going on for the steroids thing? I wonder. We haven't seen those around for a little while.
Maybe he'll punch Daniel in the face.
Well, that's what I was kind of hoping for on today's episode, especially when they had that confrontation in the street. I was thinking, oh, this could be a banging episode. I was kind of just wanting it to build up to something that it didn't really build up to, but anyway, let's move on. I'm sure there's more we can talk about that later. Anyway, Daisy's there with Jenny, just having a good old blub. So Daniel said later on, just so happens, what are the chances, just so happens to be there when Ryan is getting into a hotel. No, he's not. He's getting into a taxi to take him to a hotel, and Steve is very loudly announcing, "Ooh la la, you're going to Chariot Square, are you, mister?" Daniel goes, Ryan's going to a hotel. Think I'll store that little bit of information. Daisy, meanwhile, is still telling Jenny about how amazing and fit as Ryan is. How she wants to protect him and how she loves the time she spends with him, and now he's told me he loves me. What do I do? Jenny's like, for heaven's sake, woman. She kind of, there's one bit, I can't remember whether it was here, that Jenny just like tips her head back and rolls her eyes in exasperation about the trouble that her stepdaughter's got herself into. And Jenny's like, why would you drop everything you got with Daniel for this? Who do you love? Which one of them? And Daisy's like, oh, both of them. I just don't know what to do. And Jenny, because, you know, she's been on this show for a good 40 years or so, says, Daniel's going to find this out. You know this. You can't have a love triangle in Coronation Street or a secret affair without somebody else finding out about it. So you just need to tell him now, otherwise you're going to get caught out. I think she's right. How much do you think it's possible for somebody to love two people at once?
Why are you asking me?
Just checking. I'm just testing you.
That's a weird question.
Because you do get, you know, these polyamorous types, don't you? And your thruples. And I don't think that this story is going down there. At least I very much hope not. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right to me, at least, that you can fully love one person whilst at the same time loving someone else. But people do, I guess.
I'm not getting involved.
Don't get involved in this, Gemma says. All right then. Well, Jenny says, no, one or the other, and just tell Daniel if you're going to stick with Ryan, please. So
it's not really, the thing is, right, it's not a question of can you love two people at once, it's how do they feel about it. And it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant whether you can feel that emotion for two people at once.
I suppose if everyone's cool with it.
Yeah, exactly. There are people that are perfectly fine with that. But I don't imagine that Daniel would be one of them, and Ryan certainly isn't.
See, you said that the Daisy and Ryan is the hot, sexy love. Do you feel anything like that between Daisy and Daniel? Because
no. I
don't.
said he's the safe one.
He is, but you can still be safe and a bit exciting.
Michael, I can't answer any of these because I feel like you're inserting yourself in the conversation.
Yeah, I'm just digging for compliments here. Which one am I doing?
You're Daniel. You're Daniel.
I know I'm the Daniel.
You've got a house.
Thank you very much.
And you're a teacher.
I just would really like the Daisy and Daniel relationship to stay the course. But I don't know. I
felt a bit. I was into the whole chalk and cheese aspect of Daniel and Daisy's relationship, but they haven't done any work on those two as a couple, and recently, and you know, Daniel's turning into a kind of a bit of a jealous. I think he's getting slightly obsessed with this idea that Ryan and Daisy are together, which is understandable because they are.
I would agree that recently they've not done a whole lot about Ryan and Daniel and Daisy
since they got married, since they were going to get married.
He's been very much
in the background,
very much in the background in this story. But over the course of the last few years, I would say that of most of the couples that have been on the street, we've probably seen more of them. We've certainly seen more of them than we have of Adam and Sarah, maybe, or, you know, Beth and Kirk, or anyone like that. So, but it is just a a family safe kind of love, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so Daniel later on finds something of Daisy's, and it took us a while. It's a good job he mentioned it, didn't he? Because he finds this long rainbow cordy thing. I didn't have a clue what this was, but apparently it is Daisy's phone charger. So he, believing that Daisy is at her mum's house, gives Christina a ring and says, "Oh, look, I got Daisy's phone charger here. Can you give it round to her?" And we don't hear the other side of the conversation, but it appears that Christina is caught off guard somewhat by the suggestion from Daniel that she's with Daisy, but she twigs pretty soon that it's probably in her daughter's best interest if she goes along with this story, and she says, "Oh yeah, she's here, great, I'll let her know." So
Christina's a good one to have in a crisis.
I think so. I was not in the slightest expecting to see her in tonight's episode.
Yeah, I know. How come she can turn up for this, but some people can't even turn up for a funeral?
When was the last time we saw her? When she was cursing the wedding,
right before the wedding,
acid attack. So yeah, her showing up on Friday at the precinct was a very nice surprise, and I think she was great. I enjoyed Christina today. I think that she was being very wise. So Daisy, meanwhile, is meeting up with Ryan at the hotel. She just wants to go straight to the room. She's clearly very uncomfortable. She's nervous about somebody spotting her. She's probably heard about all the other stories about characters being caught in what's it called, compromising positions with others at that hotel bar, so she just wants to go straight up to the room. And you see them get inside the lift, and Ryan's there just looking like all his Christmases have come at once, or if it was you, all your Halloweens had come at once.
Yay!
and Daisy's looking really, really mega uncomfortable. It really is, in a way. It reminds me of, in a very small way, of Justin and how he was pursuing Daisy. She didn't want it, and now it's Ryan. He's kind of taken the place of Justin in this story. Are you getting feeling any similarity there? No, just me then. So they go to the hotel room, and Ryan's trying to get a bit amorous, and she's squirming out of his grip. She's like, "No, this doesn't feel right." And he's like, "Oh, I get it that you're scared. Maybe we could just have a hug tonight, just be together." He's just so absolutely desperate, isn't he? He wants to, put his stamp on him. He wants to brand her, and she's. It's a little bit rapey, I'm gonna say. It's also boot on the other foot compared to a couple of years ago when she was the one that that was pursuing him and getting him drunk, rub his leg under the table.
Well.
What?
Yeah.
What? You keep looking like you want to say something, then you know. So, look, he said, this doesn't have to be a wild night of passion or anything. Let's just stay together. We're always going to be attracted to each other, so nothing we can do about that, is there? And Daisy says, "No, I love Daniel. I don't want to be this person. I don't want to be with the other woman." Speaking of Daniel...
She's not the other woman. She is the woman.
She doesn't want to be the woman who's got the other man. I don't want you to be the other man. Yeah. Meanwhile...
It's funny how there is no other man, is there?
There's never another man.
There's no other man. It's just a man that just shags about.
Gemma,
they call him the stud.
How did you find that scene where Daniel turns up at the Chariot Square bar later on?
What did I think of that scene? Oh no, why did you do it, Coronation Street, please? What has happened? I think
So he's obviously very suspicious because he saw Ryan getting in the cab to go to Chariot Square, and he just doesn't believe that that the story that Daisy's telling him is true. So he comes in and he starts going around looking really nervous, and how do you describe what was going on with the camera? It was just kind of like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Oh, zoom.
It's like, I'm looking everywhere. And the camera's coming from this angle, and now it's coming from the other angle. Everyone's busy.
Completely and utterly unnecessary. And even we hate the flashbacks and everything when they use that kind of a technique, but at least I can see why sometimes they use these camera effects or sound effects. And this was literally just a scene where somebody's looking around for somebody. And it's like, oh, this isn't dramatic enough. Yeah. Let's add some sound effects and music. No, come on.
Corrie's saying, everyone takes some mick out of us when we have really low stakes cliffhangers. We've got to make this scene more cool. How can we do it?
You can't just start doing things like that every time you think that something dramatic is happening.
We don't need camera effects to communicate the characters' inner turmoil because the actors are good enough. You don't need.
I don't think I've ever seen a more unnecessary
really
experimental editing on Coronation Street.
At least usually it's used to depict like a genuine mental crisis. This was just, I can't see, I'm looking for my girlfriend in a bar.
Can you imagine if they just used that at other random points in this week's Corrie, like, oh, Tim doesn't want to go fishing. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Or like, I tell you where they could have used it. When Hope was asking Sam about his mum.
Yeah.
You could have had a proper flashback.
What about when Beth couldn't decide which taxi to get in last week? Just imagine. Like we definitely recognise that this is an uninspiring cliffhanger.
Echoey like, get in the cab, love. Hey, love. Half price fares.
Why?
Your prawns are defrosting.
Does anybody find it effective? What the hell?
Nobody
Whose decision is it? Is this an Ian McLeod thing, or is it is it directors trying to be arty and cool, and Ian's like, yeah, go for it? Honestly, it is so bad, and that was the worst one I have ever seen on Coronation Street. Please stop doing it. Anyway, he goes hunting around the corridors, knocking on all the doors.
This is him. This is the beginning. This is you seeing the start of unhinged behaviour, isn't it? He's knocking on the doors, thinking he can just knock on every hotel room door until he finds his fiancée.
Here's a tip, Daniel. When anyone in Coronation Street goes to Chariot Square Hotel, they always go in the exact same hotel room, so why not just knock on that one, eh?
He should have gone down to the reception and said, which one's the set?
Where's
the one that's only got 3
walls? Which one's the room
for
characters? Yeah, the best 3 walled hotel room.
I know what he should have done. He should have
with panels that will slide out for the cameras.
Distracted the reception staff and then phoned up all the hotel rooms. And the only ones who'll be able to answer the phone are Ryan and Daisy because the rest of them are non-speaking extras.
Oh, yeah. Which one's the room that Ed was electrocuted in, that Phelan raped Hannah in, that Stephen had a meltdown in and got proposed to Elaine?
What was the one where they were sitting either side of a wall?
Tracy and Steve. Was that there as well, was it?
I think it
might
was.
have been. Anyway.
What hotel would it have been at?
And also, which is the room that I used to take Nikki into to dress up as Sinead? Was that at that hotel as well? I think it was. Anyway, he doesn't find her, but inside the room, they can certainly hear him from the corridor. And they're kind of listening up against the wall. And I think Ryan is still finding it all quite a bit exciting, but Daisy is, like, her heart is dropping.
I tell you what it is. He's got nothing to lose.
No, exactly.
If they get found out, he wins because he's... You know, Daniel's going to dump her and he could end up scooping her up.
Yeah, exactly. What's the worst that Daniel can do? Mess up the other side of his face.
Oh my God. This is what I mean about Ryan. He's being quite nice at the moment, but if he wants to take the gloves off, he could certainly make it so that Daisy's got no choice.
Yeah.
Does that mean, because he won't, does that mean it's true love?
He's absolutely reached rock bottom this year, hasn't he? He's got a drug addiction. He's sold his body online. He's been hit in the face with acid. You're right. He can't, his life, he can't get any lower. He feels maybe he's got absolutely nothing to lose here, so he might as well. And now he finally thinks he's got something or someone in the form of Daisy that can elevate everything for him. So of course he's going to cling on to her, but it does feel, they can feel like kind of creepy and stalky, that's all I'm going to say. So Daniel ends up getting into a conversation with some guy that works there who kind of ships him off eventually. And then later on they're packing all their stuff because they're like, we can't stay here because Daniel knows we're here. What are we going to do? Daisy is by this point really doubling down on her Daniel decision, and she says, look, I'm going to have to stay here though because I've told Daniel that I'm staying at my mum's house, so I can't just go back home now. So Ryan ends up kind of going back off.
What a cow. She just
thoroughly blue-balled.
She gets a free night in a hotel. Sorry, Ryan, it really doesn't make sense.
But Gemma, she didn't enjoy it because of her inner turmoil.
She had a sad bubble bath.
Yeah, she did. And then she went and stayed at the Grand and as well, didn't she?
No, I think she forged that.
No, I don't.
Really?
No, I think that she told somebody later on that she...
Oh.
Yeah, she said it. She said, oh, I couldn't stay there, so I went to the Grand Hotel.
What the hell are you doing? And Ryan still had to pay. He didn't pay full price, but he still paid. Why not let him stay there?
I know.
Where did Ryan go?
Well, it's not special for Ryan, is it? Because he literally used to live at the Chariot Square Hotel.
That's true.
He lived there for about 6 months.
No, that's true. Why did Debbie give him half price? Why did she just give him a free room?
Yeah, it's not really fun and exciting and exotic if you're just going back to the hotel you go to is the one you used to live in. Yeah. Anyway, I think people have forgotten about that. So
I have.
Daniel sees Ryan and Debbie in the bistro later, and he starts kind of getting very, very, what Debbie calls it a willy waving competition, doesn't he? There's not many characters that could say that, but she's so fantastic. Delivered it just perfectly.
She's just so cool. She's just sitting there with her cool glasses on, and she's observing the drama. And she does involve herself a little bit, doesn't she?
Yeah. What was the other thing that she was getting herself involved with? There was a scene in the cafe. And she was sitting behind a couple of other characters this week. I can't remember. Was it the Tim and Steve? I can't remember. I'm sure we'll figure it out when we get to the notes. But yeah, she was awesome. Yeah, so anyway, Daniel's there kind of really getting up in Ryan's face saying, because he knows, doesn't he? He has convinced himself that Ryan and Daisy were at this hotel earlier and he just couldn't find them. And he's like, so, getting up to anything interesting in that hotel there? And he's just pestering. Partly giving Ryan a taste of his own medicine, I'm going to say. Jenny's there as well with Rita and kind of leaps up to try and break things up, but doesn't have any joy with that. So Debbie ends up saving the day. They go off, and then Debbie ends up saving the day by saying, well, yeah, Ryan was at the hotel earlier because I had some odd jobs for him to do and he was just helping me out doing manly things. And Daniel, for a moment, is really relieved and he kind of said, oh, I'm really sorry. I'm getting so paranoid about this. I'm sorry. But please, Ryan, forgive me for my paranoia. And anyway, he phones up Daisy later and she's still at the hotel.
Just as she picks the phone up,
the very second that she picks the phone up, that's when room service decide to knock on the door. And Daniel's like, what's that? Are you in a hotel? And she has to think very fast and just blurt out a load of lies about falling out with her mum and deciding to go and stay at a hotel. I didn't come back to you because of reasons. Maybe I had a bit too much to drink. And she's like very keen to just end this call now. After telling him that she loves him, of course, but he's left at the end of the episode looking very heartbroken because he's back to thinking, oh no, my suspicions were absolutely confirmed and correct. So,
my question is, what did the room service person do?
What do you mean?
Well, they knocked on the door, said room service, and then she goes in the bathroom. What do they do? Leave it outside, or did they take it downstairs? Is she going to get an irate phone call from reception asking why she ordered this steak and chips and didn't want it? Is she going to have a cold and sweaty steak and chips?
Probably.
Oh, how sad. No wonder she was annoyed.
Friday's episode comes round, and this is when we see Christina, Daisy's mum, making a little cameo appearance in the precinct. That precinct is certainly getting an awful lot of use now this year, isn't it?
Yes.
Where did they used to go? I suppose before, when people used to want to have secret meetings with people, they maybe thought that Victoria Gardens was far enough. Well, it makes sense that if you want to have secret meetups, then you would go to somewhere a bit further away than just around the corner from where you live.
Yeah, I mean, we always make fun of, like, people, oh, it's so convenient how everybody overhears everything, but really there's only, like, 1, 2, 3 streets for them to walk up and down. Of course they're going to overhear everything. Anyway,
so Daisy's kind of there sharing her woes with her mum. Daniel, meanwhile, is getting some dad time with Ken, saying, look, I'm just getting really, really angry and I'm jealous and I'm paranoid about what's going on. Every time they're with each other, I feel like there's something, some kind of chemistry or something between them, and I feel like I'm the odd one out. It's like I'm being a teenager again and being excluded. We've seen Daniel go to some really dark places in the past, haven't we? He's, when Daniel loses it,
Oh gosh,
he's terrifying.
He pushes people down the stairs.
And I think
Daisy, look, okay, sorry to interrupt you, but at the end of this episode, Daniel takes Daisy to a place with a staircase that looks painful as hell. Is he planning to push her down that staircase?
I'd like to think that Daniel...
This will be his 3 for 3. He pushed Ken down the stairs. He pushed Max down the stairs. Now he's moved to a flat.
Gonna make
for
it
no reason has a staircase. There's no reason for that staircase to be there.
Oh, what, that spiral staircase?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine her tumbling down that? She's going to get cuts all over herself.
Yeah. Ken says,
that's my prediction for a nice Christmas Day episode.
Talk to Daisy. Don't jump to any conclusions. You know, Ken is the master
of... If she gets lippy with you, push her against the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Ken's the master of what to do in these situations. Yep. Just push her against the door, and then it'll be a talking point on documentaries about Coronation's truth for the next 40 years.
He's like, the main thing is, get yourself in a clip show.
Yeah. This is a love triangle, then this is your big chance at the big time, Daniel. Just
exactly.
Saying. Milk it, mister. So, Ryan's packing all of his stuff at the flat because he's decided he can't live there anymore. Lauren comes back into it and she says, "Oh, I'm really sorry. Nobody cares about me.
I don't have any friends. I don't have any friends or people that care about me, and you're one of them. Well, why'd you blackmail me then? It's probably why you don't have any friends."
Ryan ends up softening and gives her a hug and says, "Oh, we can be mates."
No, give me my money back.
But
she's
not worth it, Daniel.
I get mad when somebody owes me money for a meal that I paid for, let alone blackmail me for 500 quid.
Well, Daniel's just a better person than we are, Gemma.
Oh, definitely.
He may have a scarred face, but his soul is still pristine.
One? Ryan?
Oh, Ryan, sorry, yeah. Ryan.
Oh, I thought you... Well, Daniel and Ryan are both better than we are.
Daisy has told her mum about everything that's going on with Ryan, and mum kind of makes a thing about, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Your dad was a bit of an eye wanderer himself. And Daisy's like, I don't appreciate that comparison, thank you very much. Christina, again, like Jenny, just says, do you love Ryan? Do you love Daniel? You can't love them both. And Daisy says, look, I just want to be with Ryan. Or does she say Daniel? I can't remember. I just lost track about it.
What did she say? She must have picked Daniel. Better the devil you know.
I don't know.
Where's Ryan going to live? Is he going back? Where's he going? Back with Peter?
Back with Peter, maybe, and Carla.
Can I just say, why is this sofa so creaky all of a sudden? Have you noticed over the past 2 weeks?
I've not noticed the creaky sofa, no.
It's you that's doing
Halloween
it.
Season. So this is all the way that I'm putting on. She begs Christina to tell Daniel if he should ring her. Yes, she was with me yesterday, and then we had a fallout, and I believe she may have said she was going to a hotel.
Mum, when my fiance phones, can you pretend you're a bitch? Oh no, you can, can't you? That comes very naturally.
Well, fortunately, Daisy gave her that heads up, because the very next scene, Ryan does indeed call...
Daniel.
Oh my god, right, Daniel.
I'll tell you what, in order so that you can find, you can differentiate them, let's make up a name where they both have a different letter that their name starts with, and they both have different amount of syllables. Oh wait.
It already is. Daniel does indeed phone up Christina and says, tell me about this fallout that you had last night. And Christina, as per Daisy's instructions, does go along with it, but she's like, I don't remember what we argued about. Daniel's trying to dig for details, isn't he? He's like, so because he knows what Daisy's told her, and he needs to know if she's gonna. He acts dumb to see if she proposes the same details.
We were talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock, and I was on Chris Rock's side and she was on Will Smith's side, and then we started bringing up what's her face, who shall not be named, and the whole thing got really violent, and then she started acting it out on me, and I was like, you're not even getting an Oscar for this, so I don't know why there's not even a Soap Award for you, so leave me alone, Daisy.
We were just talking about a book that we'd read where a character gets splashed with acid on their wedding day, and it's just...
and they fall out with their mum, and
then the mum cast it. Anyway, so after the call, Christina says to Daisy, look, just don't waste this second chance that you're getting with Daniel. Cut all your ties with Ryan, missus. Over at number 1, Daniel is still looking very, very suspicious indeed. So Daisy goes back to the flat.
He's looking suspicious of them.
He's looking suspicious of them, yeah. This conversation has not
He's
done
not, like, opening
enough to
boxes
assuage his...
And, like, putting pipettes of liquid in things.
So Daisy goes back to the flat. and shares this awkward kiss with Daniel before he starts asking her about the hotel. And he's really getting mega paranoid about it, as he has every right to, I think.
This is literally... No, this isn't gaslighting, is it? Because she's not saying, why would you think that?
No, he's like he's like demanding that she shows him evidence that she was at this hotel, the Grand, she says it was last night.
She should have gone to the Midland.
But she ends up rooting around in a bag and pulling out a statement.
Mind you, 99 quid. That's pretty... That's not...
That's not too bad, is it?
I wish we...
For last minute stay in Manchester. So
did it say breakfast included?
I don't remember.
Oh, I love breakfast hotels.
Back at the precinct flat, Lauren's there. I'm still asking about Ryan with Daisy, and he says, "Oh, I really love her, but I only want to be with her if she wants it too." And Lauren says, she didn't deserve you. Blah, 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 blah. Later on, Daisy's with Jenny, telling her what happened. And I don't know, maybe this is what you missed. Do you see this scene? Because this is where Daisy tells Jenny, "No, I did go to the Grand last night."
This might have been when I was trying to Google a picture of an evil support group.
Oh, what, for your Toyah and Peter Twitter? Maybe it was. But anyway, that explains why she had her Grand receipt.
Why would you do this? So much money.
To cover up your affair.
I would just... Sorry.
Serious business.
No, I don't have the money for that. You'd have to find out. This is what I always think about. All these people that run around cheating and buying gifts and things. Like, how have you got all this spare money? Don't you have electrics that need fixing and plumbing that's gone wrong?
Yeah.
Don't you have a flooded basement that needs fixing and pumping?
Oh my gosh, we're
not even going to talk about it.
We had a flood last week.
We're not even talking about it.
Yeah. So
this is why the dream of home ownership is fake.
It's all a lie. It's very expensive.
It's not just the mortgage payments.
So there's a good scene with Ryan and Daniel later on that had a little shot from above, didn't it? Like pigeon cam watching down on them as they square up to each other in the street.
Oh,
and Daniel gives Ryan a little push, doesn't he? And he says, "You were with Daisy yesterday," and Ryan says, "Look, the reason why things are always a little bit awkward when you see me and Daisy together is because I told her I loved her. I'm really sorry." And Daniel doesn't know how to react by this at first. Then he starts getting really mad and says, "What? This is how you repay me, Ryan? Everything I've done to help you, and you need to stay away from us now." So at least for a moment, he thinks that he knows.
Hang on, he's suspicious of Ryan because Ryan's not acting... Ryan's being really nice and kind of answering all of Daniel's questions and not being defensive, which doesn't feel like... I think one of the things that the police say, or when you watch these videos and they say, oh, how do murderers or whatever give themselves away? Apparently, when you get accused of something when you're innocent, you always get really angry and indignant about even being accused. Whereas Ryan, when Daniel's like, "You're having an affair with my girlfriend," he's like, "No, mate, we would never. Why would you think that? Of course, no way." In real life, you'd be like, "Shut up, Daniel, you stuck-up asshole. I've got my own girls I can go shag. I don't need your leftover bird."
So, well, Daniel does...
Do you know what I mean? If somebody says, if I said to you, "Oh, you stole my Snickers bar," you'd be like, "No, you get mad, wouldn't you?"
Yeah.
I'd get mad when you accuse me of things I haven't done.
Well, yeah.
So he's suspicious.
It feels... I kind of took away that he was a little bit more relieved here, but he does then go back and still trying to sneakily dig for information from Daisy, doesn't he? He does the old "Ryan's told me everything" trick. But rather than let Daisy dig herself her own grave here, he rookie mistake tells her what Ryan actually did say about him saying that he loved her, and she kind of clings onto this and runs with it a little bit.
I was intrigued that she was making biscuits.
Was she? I missed that.
What domestic scene he walked
Guilt
in
biscuits.
On. Well, she seemed to be making gingerbread people for Bertie.
She's not making pink wafers for Todd.
Don't even.
Don't go there. So there was somebody who says somebody says a line about there being CCTV in the hotel. He says, "Oh, I hope that there wasn't CCTV footage of me wandering around the corridors like a dipstick," which is a nice.
Well, how else do you do it? That's what you normally look like, Daniel.
I wonder whether that mention of the CCTV... Yeah, I did hear the creaky sofa there. I wonder if that mention of the CCTV is going to lead to something, because there will be CCTV of them in the hotel. But I don't know why Daniel would end up seeing it.
You can't get it without going through Debbie.
No.
And Debbie's protecting Ryan because they're both in cahoots.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just a throwaway line.
I know they're trying to make Carla into Ryan's like maternal figure, which is obviously makes sense because she's his fake aunt.
Yeah.
But I'd rather it was Debbie.
I know, I prefer Debbie and
I want her to take him under her wing because she's also a bit naughty.
Yeah, exactly that.
She'd be like, listen, Ryan. Well, she helped him cheat, didn't she?
Mm.
She's the aunt you go to if you've like crashed your car because you're drunk or something.
Yeah, she is, isn't she?
Yeah, you'd be like, help me, Auntie Debbie. I've taken an upper and a downer. What do I do now? She's like, don't worry, I'll be equalised in no time.
Yeah. What was the best? Do you remember when Debbie, didn't she fake her own death or something at one point when she was? It was when she was.
She did.
She was with Ray Crosby.
Who's she like? Yeah, she did. She's bonkers, isn't she? She's so great. This whole show should just be the Debbie show, and we'd all watch.
She had her holy hand grenade earrings on again one episode this week, and that's.
Are they not Vivienne Westwood?
I don't know. It just feel like she just launches her grenades at all.
Yeah, if anything gets too hairy, she just throws it on the floor and then disappears.
To disappear, she just needs to crouch behind something fairly small, to be honest.
Shut up.
Anyway, so Daisy goes round to the precinct flat to say, sorry, Ryan, we can't do this anymore. But they still have a little sad hug, which Lauren is spying on through a crack in the door.
It's just like Great Gatsby.
Like if you want to call it a quits, Daisy, you don't need to go around there to give him a hug and apologise in person.
Friends
it clearly shows that you have still got some attachment issues and you're clinging on to it.
I've had friends for 25 years I've never touched in my life. You don't need to hug everybody.
Yeah. So. What's going on? Then we have Lauren doing some English, and I just kind of I switched off a little bit during this scene. It was the scene where she was talking about, I don't like this book because everyone's cheating on each other, and he's like, oh really? Tell me more about how you feel about that. And it was too highbrow. It was too highbrow for me, but basically it ended in him kind of suspecting that she knows something about Ryan and Daisy, doesn't it?
Oh. Well, I don't know whether it was that or just the situation, because he's sort of taking the side of it's understandable how in some situations you might end up cheating. And she's like, no, it's always wrong. He is inadvertently defending the behaviour that he doesn't...
Isn't there some talk about the character who plays the narrator that knows about the affair but doesn't do anything about it? And so she's like, that narrator's so bad, but maybe I'm the narrator of this because I know that they're having it off. I don't know.
It's not the nativity play. We don't need a narrator.
Anyway, Daniel realises there's something he needs to do, which is... I've bought this Red Bank flat that we were talking about.
I don't have any money or income. Well, he does. I want to teach his wage.
I've sold my mum's house at last.
He's put it on the market.
Yeah. So I put it on the market, so now we can live here. Basically saying, what's his game here?
Push her down the stairs. I said that already. It's obvious. Shouldn't
he be wanting to get her far away from Ryan? Or is he so convinced?
Maybe he's testing.
Is he so convinced that that they're together, he just wants to keep them there so that he can catch them out or something? Is he,
I think he's bonkers.
He's bonkers, yeah.
Well, because he's let people live in his mum's house for free all this time, but he's also been paying rent on a different flat, and now why would you do that? I don't understand why I understand being nice to people, but don't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm when you have a child. Think about Bertie, all this money he's paid out in rent, having a place so that poor refugees, I understand, can live in his house. What about Bertie and his future? He could have been saving that money he was paying on rent and stuck it in an ISA for the kid.
Yeah, very good point.
Maybe he's just expecting Bertie to get a windfall when he turns 18.
He's got all the Sinead's cash.
Also, I'm sure there'll be another tragic Barlow death before he comes of age. Where he'll get a load of money in the will.
I just wanted to have a look, because we made a poll on Twitter, didn't we, the other day, about who people should whether what was it?
Who should Daisy pick?
That's it. Who should Daisy pick out of her? I'm just trying to find. Daniel is winning the poll. Oh no, it's won the poll. Daniel has won the poll with 55%, so it's pretty close to Ryan's 45%. So it looks like most people are saying that she needs to stick with the safer option. Which, you know, as the boring one myself, I would heartily approve of that.
It's like, listen, Daisy, you could be a Barlow if you play your cards right, love. But that's a legacy surname.
The fact that it's so close to 50-50, I suppose that's what Coronation Street wants.
That is actually really good for Corrie too. Yeah, you're right.
That there's going to be...
That's what they want us. They want us to be divided. Don't let them divide us. As fans, we need to decide one or the other. Who are you going with?
I get the boring one in me wants her to stay with Daniel, but she's got some chemistry with Ryan. But I don't know whether I buy the whole angle of, just because they've shared a tragedy together, they should shack up. I mean, like we said before on the podcast, everybody has shared a tragedy together on Coronation Street at some point. But if they're not careful, it's going to just become a mass orgy for the whole street because
that's a different show.
They've all been through all this trauma together.
Yeah, that's after 9. I don't think I want to watch that show.
No.
Anyway.
I just think that she would be crazy to give up this family for Ryan, who, as she's admitted herself, only seems to come from a tragedy they've had, and supposedly she's got this deeper bond with Daniel.
I mean, you know, this is the thing, right? The English language has got many, many good aspects to it.
Well, Daniel knows all about that.
But one of the major failings of it is that there is one word for love, where there really should be many words for love. Because I do think that Daisy is experiencing a different kind of love for Ryan than she feels for Daniel. And to me, the love that she feels for Ryan is some kind of like new romance, passionate, physical, hormonal, pheromone kind of love, right? But the stuff that she feels for Daniel is like a family love that you get when you're with somebody for a longer period of time. And to me, that is a more real kind of love.
Yeah.
Because you can shack up with somebody and, you know, have a one-night stand or something with someone you really fancy and then you never see them again. And, you know, but you... That love that she has with Daniel, it feels like is more real.
I think that's more long lasting.
But she had that didn't she have that with Daniel to start with? Who's to say that Ryan wouldn't end up like that if she gave it more time?
Must be hard to be so beautiful and wanted. I've said that I found the story a bit more engaging this week, and I think it was the fact that Daniel was starting to piece it together, and he was starting to get a little bit more unhinged in his accusations, and I'm thinking, what is he gonna do? And it was, I felt the passion more between these two sneaky lovers. Did you find it more interesting this week? Was it just me?
No, I don't know. But I want to say, do you think that Daniel's going to try to win? Like, how
is he going to try and win Ryan's heart?
That would show, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That ultimate revenge.
But is this part of Daniel trying to sort of win Daisy's affections by providing something?
What, the flat at the end?
Yeah. Is he sort of showing, you know, I'm and in a way, like, is he also trying to manipulate her because she said, I can't contribute, and he's like, I'll pay for everything. Is he thinking that if he does that, then she'll have no choice but to stay with him?
Yeah, maybe.
Because Ryan's homeless now. He's living with Peter.
Yeah. Good point. But did you enjoy this story particularly more this week?
It was more interesting this week, but I'm not emotionally connected to it, and it's nobody's fault. It's just I can't engage emotionally with everything that happens on Coronation Street.
Yeah, I'm glad that I enjoyed it a little bit more. And it seems we've got people talking, which is good.
Yeah, lots of Daisy fans hate this story.
No, I know.
Which is interesting.
They've really is not done a good job on the character, but I feel that they've clawed her back a little bit more this week by showing a modicum of guilt for sneaking around like she's doing. She knows that it's wrong, but
Oh, that's all right.
She's trying her best to stop it happening, apparently. But the fact that she actually went to the hotel tells me that, she
don't get it.
She was kind of up for it in some way.
Don't need to worry about that, do I?
Talking of
Courtney.
Failed relationships, doomed relationships,
passionate love affairs.
Oh
yeah, ages.
Hot summer sizzling storyline has suddenly become very autumnal in the Courtney and Aadi romance stakes this week, hasn't it? Do you want to go through that one?
On Monday, this is when Bernie shares her dress-up tips about zombie postman, sexy paramedic, sexy paramedic, etc., which I love. I love Bernie. She's just fun. Her and Debbie, imagine them in a book club together. I'd love it. Anyway.
That reminded me something of in that last story that I didn't mention. It was kind of in that story only because he was talking to Rita and Jenny at the time, but Kirk and his talking about the discovery of capers I found kind of amusing.
I missed what he was saying about capers.
He was just saying, oh, isn't it funny you can be alive for all this time and you still find things you didn't know existed. And he's like, who ever heard of capers? Did you hear of them? I thought it was kind of funny. For Kirk, it was funny.
Oh,
anyway, sorry. So what's going on with Aadi then?
So
Bernie's done a sexy
Aadi's coming into the cafe and he sees Dev is in there and he heads right back out again because they're still having their father-son feud where he's mad because Dev didn't appreciate the snow globe to the window.
Yeah.
So Bernie then chats with Dev and she says that you've got to speak to Aadi. Life is too short for family feuds. So Dev turns up at the flat and he's got a snake plant as an apology, which is a very good plant to select, isn't it? We've got a snake plant right here in the studio. Here.
Oh yeah, down on the floor.
I want to buy a little table for it to go on. BTW. Anyway, so he's like, Aadi says, I'm sorry about the window smashing, and then they start chatting. But before that, he's like, is that supposed to be a comment? This snake plant's supposed to be a comment on Courtney calling her a snake?
Yeah.
It's like he's also doing his GCSE English or something. Aadi, it's apologised for the chat, and then Dev makes some snarky comments about...
He just can't be nice
help himself. No,
for too long.
But honestly, if you're Dev, wouldn't you want to smack his head against the wall and tell him to knock some sense into himself?
It's really difficult because...
He
knows that this is disastrous.
Dev has done nothing but provide for these two brats that he's raised. Ash is doing all right now, but Aadi is just being such a little entitled bumhole, isn't he? He's throwing everything back in his dad's face. He had this great job that Dev had given him.
He's just really naive and very, very inexperienced in the ways of love. And Dev, obviously, Mr. Lover himself, believes that he's got a lot more worldly wisdom and doesn't want to see his son's messing his life up the way he probably thinks he has with many failed romances in the past.
We've all known people who have gone out with someone that's clearly not right. And there's nothing you can do. It's the most helpless feeling in the world because you cannot stop them from going off with them.
I do think that Dev went a bit over the top and it was being a bit...
Dev was saying what everyone else was thinking.
He kind of starts off trying to be nice and then he just can't help himself. But brands Courtney a mouthy little freeloader.
Yeah, and then she walks in behind.
Don't do that to your son.
What?
Yeah. You know that's not going to work. What does he think's going to happen? Aadi go, oh yeah, you're right. Actually,
she is a mouthy little freeloader. There's a what?
Would you say that Dev should allow Aadi to make his mistakes and then just be ready there to give him a hug when it inevitably goes wrong?
This is the entitlement of Aadi, though, isn't it? This is the trouble with these two kids of his, that they know no matter what they do, Daddy Dev's there with his money bags and his fleet of shops for them to bounce back in whatever trouble they get into doesn't really matter. I
think that what Dev said, sort of slagging off Courtney, you might do to your mates, but I think
you're right.
Saying it to you about your son's second ever girlfriend, third maybe. I thought it was a little bit too much. And
then very pathetic for you, Michael.
I know. And then when Courtney comes in and Dev's still saying it to his face, her face as well, I just thought...
Well, he's wrong, isn't he? Because he's made it impossible now for Aadi to admit it's all gone wrong.
Yeah.
Because he can't... His pride won't let him crawl back to Dev.
And Dev starts slagging off the house, doesn't he? He's like, look at this place, it's a dump.
I mean, their house is nice, but I wouldn't say it was a palace compared to a cave.
Not as nice as the houses across the street.
Well, you know what I mean? It's like, it's still, you still do live in quite a small house yourself, Dev. Like, the only reason it looks spacious is because the fourth wall moves. So anyway, he's saying, yeah, you can do better than this. Come home. And Aadi says, don't you talk to her like that. I'll put your window, I'll do more than put your window through, etc. I want to know what Dev's doing with all of his cash. Everybody on the street seems to have so much money, but they still live in...
Yeah.
I mean, they're not. I'd like to live in a house like theirs, but I also don't send my child to private school and have golfing habits.
Yeah, that's where his money goes, isn't it, the golf.
And kebab shops and numerous corner shops all bringing my money in.
I don't think he's got the numerous corner shops anymore.
Do you think that Dev's like saving up for it? I reckon he lost all his money on Virgin Galactic tickets. Later on, Aadi apologises to Courtney about his dad, and he says, "I know this isn't your dream home, but we'll get there." And she's crying. And at this point, it seems to me, I think at this point she's decided that she's leaving him.
You reckon?
Yeah.
She's definitely been squeezing out many a tear this week, hasn't she, Courtney?
And what happened about her being sick the other day? I'm so confused. She threw up, and they talked about it on the show.
Yeah, but she says she's not pregnant. I didn't think
so. What? Yeah, but why put that in? They don't put that in by accident.
Well, no, they put it in just to make Aadi worry for a minute, or somebody worry that she might be pregnant. It was just for very short-term drama. I don't think it's anything. I'm
not sure myself.
Oh, okay.
I don't know anything.
Well,
I don't know anything.
I'm.
But if she's pregnant, I can see why she's out of there like a shot.
Also, the fact that she was weeping away with her hormones and everything.
Oh.
So anyway,
she's crying. Next? On Wednesday, Aadi goes to Freshco's and gets a job stacking shelves.
And you see, he had his little badge on today, his little Freshco badge.
Yeah, a little T-shirt with Freshco's on it. Courtney's chuffed, and he says he's going to arrange a family meal so that everybody... I thought wasn't this the afternoon tea?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a family meal. The family meal's on Friday.
No, he's inviting people around for family tea.
He wants to tea.
Yeah, he wants to get the family together, and this.
No, the friends and family. Well, it's Asher, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, she's family.
It's fine. So Connie says, "Brilliant, sounds good. I'll go somewhere, but I'll see you later." And he's like,
she's still crying throughout this scene, especially when
she's decided that she's off.
When she's saying how proud of him she is.
Yeah. I don't think she is. I think she's like, "Oh, this is the best you can do. I'm off." So Nina turns up, and they're supposed to be having this kind of double date thing. Nina and Asher and Courtney and Aadi, but neither Asher nor Courtney ever turn up. And they're sitting there with their little paper tiered cake stand, and it looks very...
It looks like a kind of pathetic...
It looks really... Like, those cakes look so hard. There's a knock on the door, and who is it? It's Darren. And Darren... So this is Courtney's husband, the rich man. And he says, Courtney and me are going to give it another go. Honestly, Darren is such a mug, isn't he? Why would he take her back for?
Well, that's what I was wondering. I suppose in his mind, she's just this beautiful prize, this arm candy that he now gets to parade around Weatherfield again. But
I think he's just smug that
different
he's
people,
won.
Yeah, different people mind different things. But many people would say, well, Courtney is... She's betrayed me. She's used us now, or whatever.
I just think he's the sort of guy that would strike me as a, I just want a girlfriend that doesn't give me any trouble, or a wife who doesn't give me any trouble.
I mean, wasn't there the scene at the Bistro a couple of weeks ago where it looked like there was still a frisson or something between them. So I guess it's building on that.
Anyway,
I certainly wasn't expecting it.
Well, he's like, yeah, I'm going to pack all her stuff up. And Aadi's like, no way, that's not true. She would never do this. And he phones her up, and Darren says, you're blocked. And then immediately the phone hangs up on him. And Darren's like, yeah, see, told you, you're blocked. And Darren leaves, and Aaron's left there. looking worried. Then it cuts to Nina and Aadi.
Yeah, later on.
Sitting on the sofa, and she's trying to sort of be a good friend. And he's saying that he blames Dev for this, and that Courtney's decided to leave him because that's the best for him. And he also says, please don't tell Asha because I couldn't stand her crowing about it, which she definitely would.
Yeah.
So Nina goes home, and then Asha gets in late, and she's saying, sorry I didn't come. I was having drinks after work with my new friend. She's so fantastic. I love her. She's great. Paramedics are like the superheroes of the world. So much pressure because you like can kill people with incompetence. And yeah, she just seems really giddy and happy and loving her life. And Nina's kind of annoyed because she can't tell Asha what's happened with Courtney. And Aadi's at home alone in the dark later, and he cannot get hold of Courtney on the phone, and he throws, he has a tantrum and breaks a picture.
See, can we just pause it for a second to talk about where this was, where we were in our heads with this story after Wednesdays, because Corrie was trying to make us... It was a bit of a mystery, wasn't it? It was a purposeful... It must have been so what's really happened to Courtney?
I didn't think that at all. I just thought, she sodded off.
The fact that Courtney wasn't there with Darren when he came round her flat really, to me... put the warning signals up. Yeah. I suppose because I suddenly got this. I was, fairly lukewarm on this story. But when Courtney supposedly disappeared, I thought, maybe Darren has done away with her or bundled her up in a van and driven her off or something. I just refused to believe that she actually had left Aadi so coldly as that.
No, I totally bought it.
Did you?
Because I was thinking this is exactly what she's like. She's cutthroat, she's selfish, she's cowardly, and also Darren is totally the sort of bloke who'd go, I'll go and get him for you, I'll get it, because he would love to rub Aadi's face in it.
He would.
This is exactly the sort of people they are. You think Courtney's a good person?
I do think that she has still got some kind of feelings for Aadi. The fact that she was been so weepy all week.
Oh, she's crying because she feels bad because she fancies Aadi and she likes all the praise and attention. That's why she's crying.
I think that she definitely does have some sort of affection for Aadi.
You'd have to have some affection for him.
But it makes more sense that there's more affection that she's going to have for Darren and his wallet.
Michael, I'm just telling you.
No, it's fine.
Hitler got married.
I was just thinking it would have been more exciting if they had gone down that route. But
route?
The route of...
he's murdered her.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that.
right, Friday.
So Dev sees Aadi at the tram stop and says, sorry, I apologise for upsetting you the other day. Why don't you and Courtney come round for tea? So Aadi can't say anything. He agrees. And he tries to phone Dev up to cancel because he tells him that Courtney's got them theatre tickets. And then Courtney comes out of the bedroom. Oh, I'm so sad.
She's not in the bedroom. She comes to the front door.
Oh, right. Okay. I thought she was... in a room.
No, she just came in the front door.
So she says, I'm sorry, are you okay? And he says, look, come back to me, I'll provide for you. But I will eventually... Also, I'm just going to say, I know that if Aadi stays on Coronation Street, she's not going to be living in the lap of luxury. But Aadi is so, ambitious and confident and capable and intelligent, and he's been in the business... Like, he's worked under his dad. There's no way, if he was a real person, that he wouldn't be raking in tons of cash and be probably as rich as Darren is eventually. She's stupid.
Yeah, she's got to play the waiting game.
This way, Darren doesn't respect her at all, does he? As soon as she walked out on him, he cut her off completely and told her that he was going to take her to the cleaners. Aadi would never do that.
It does make me wonder why she isn't remembering what she found boring about Darren in the first place as well, because she really was not into him at the beginning of this story, and now he's all so special.
She insists that there's still something between her and Darren, and she's not going to come back. She doesn't want him. Well, he says, look, okay, if you want to be with Darren, why don't we just go back to just seeing each other behind Darren's back? And she says, no, I don't want you to be the bit on the side. You deserve better than me. he says, "I love you," and she's like, "Oh," and goes. Then Nina spies Aadi, who's in Victoria Gardens, feeling sorry for himself, and he's saying, "I can't tell anybody because they'll say that they told me so." They did repeatedly, many times, and everyone at home did as well. And Nina says, "Look, maybe they will, but maybe you don't have to tell them right now. Come along to this meal because you want to be with people that love you."
Yeah, and he's still kind of snappy with her at the end. So we're left at the end of the week where Dev and Asher are still ignorant of the fact that Courtney is no longer with Aadi.
What?
Any reason why that's still been left in the air, do you think?
What?
The fact that they don't know? I get that
it's just going to come out, but I can't see... It just feels like churning it out longer. I don't get...
I wonder...
How's it going to come out? If it comes out in an interesting way, I guess.
I wonder whether one of them will see Darren and Courtney together and then think
Aadi
that she's having an affair and cause a scene. And then
get embarrassed.
Yeah, and then get embarrassed about it, and Aadi will be saying, "Oh, why don't you keep your nose out?" It feels to me like there's not a whole lot of steam left in this, and maybe Aadi just needs to learn a lesson now, and that's it. It was fun while it lasted,
I'm wondering whether Coronation Street has made Courtney be sick so that in 9 months, if they want to bring her back and say she had Aadi's baby, they can. Or if not, they'll just forget that ever happened and never mention it again.
Yeah, maybe.
There's no reason to put in that she was sick. There's no plot reason.
I know. I don't remember enough about it now.
Well, someone else can tell me if I'm wrong. What does everyone else think about that?
Yeah. What else? Anything else to add about this story? It was okay. It
would have been more fun if they'd spun it out for a week. Did Darren kill?
Yeah, but then if she just turned up alive, it'd just be disappointment.
No, it would have been fun.
The Stephen week.
It could have been really fun because it could have been, Aadi makes a fool of himself trying to catch Darren out, and he sort of follows him, and he does all this incriminating things he's got his golf clubs and he's kind of wiping one down, and Aadi's like, "I must be the murder weapon." And then maybe he sort of goes to some woods at night and he's like, "Oh, this is where the burial site is." And then he kind of makes a big scene and follows him to his work or his house or whatever set they can be bothered to put together, and confronts him and gets Craig to come, and then he's like, "This man has murdered my girlfriend, Courtney." And then Courtney comes out going, "What's wrong with you?"
Do you think that Aadi just needs to see Courtney and Darren all loved up together for it to finally
Oh, yeah, but if they do,
home for him?
If that happens, then Courtney will be hanging off Darren's arm going, "Yeah, see, Aadi, ah." And then when everyone else isn't looking at her, but us, she'll wipe a tear away, and we're supposed to feel sorry for her.
What do you think of all this crying that we're seeing from Courtney? Because I was wondering whether is Darren kind of got some sort of hold over her? Does she actually want to stay with Aadi, but he's got something on her that means that she can't say no to him?
Deep.
I don't know.
She's just one of the worst people ever.
It wouldn't surprise me as well if we don't see them again, but maybe we will.
If they see Courtney again, it will be too soon.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that Aadi will stay in the flat?
Yeah, for a couple of weeks, feeling sorry for himself, and then he'll come crawling back to his dad. Because, deposits and minimum rental period agreements don't exist on Coronation Street.
I don't think that the flat is that bad, to be honest, especially now it's had a lick of paint.
We've lived in worse.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine, yeah.
So, the Stu storyline.
Someone died there.
The Stu storyline. What happened here? Well, Stu's still got his PI lady that has not been able to find anything incriminating about Dom, and she gives him this £500 bill, but he's like, no, you really got to keep looking, surely he's been up to some sort of mischief, you just haven't found it yet. So later on we find out that Eliza has had a detention in school because she fell asleep during double geography because she was up watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre last night at Halloween, and Dom doesn't know about this, and Stu doesn't know what to get more mad about the most, the fact that he doesn't know, or the fact that Eliza was allowed to watch whatever she wants to on her her laptop. Doesn't she? Doesn't have got any settings, any parental controls in there? What kind of guy is this Dom? He's clearly just looking for anything to cling on to at this point to paint Dom as a terrible father. And I'm not saying he's not, and I'm not saying that he should have been leaving Eliza to be able to watch these things. Well, but Stu, like Yasmin has said at the end of the week, has clearly got so much of an axe to grind, he's become a bit obsessed with the whole thing.
Stu just wants Eliza back, and he's really, really critical of all this parenting mistakes that Dom's making. But really, if he wanted, you know, he could just say to Dom, look, I know we have got off on the wrong foot and everything, but if you're going to look after Eliza, then I think you need a bit of help. Because Dom, look, honestly, I don't see how dissimilar we would be. If a child just materialised in our house right now, they get into so much trouble. Because we don't know what parental controls. I guess that's a good idea. Yeah, I know, but it would take making mistakes for us to figure this out, wouldn't it? Like, the first time she watches Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Halloween, then you would go, oh yeah, probably should make it so she can't do that. I didn't think of this.
Eliza doesn't really seem to me the sort that would want to watch that sort of film anyway. But she seems quite sensible.
If that's the worst thing you get up to as a kid, the other lot are vaping and beating each other up. She's just watching movies when she should be sleeping.
It will scar her precious, fragile mind, Gemma.
And she got detention for falling asleep.
Yeah.
The school's strict, man.
Eliza, when she first came into the show, and this is why Stu kind of fell in love with her, was because she was just so nice and sensible and mature. And they keep kind of throwing things in there about her to make her be a bit of a rebel or an angry teenager. And it's not particularly working for me. But anyway, I think I would... If I was Stu, I think I'd also be pretty mad to find out that Dom had let Eliza do this.
Eliza's basically Matilda, but she's not psychic. And Dom is Miss Honey.
Do you think? Do you reckon? Anyway, Yasmin and Nalia are saying to Stu, look, you really, really got to try and be more civil to Dom, otherwise he could just push harder to get custody of her, you know. And Friday...
Honestly, the worst thing in the world is not that she watched a film at night. I watched films when I shouldn't have watched them. I remember one time, I'm sure I've told this story on the podcast before, I remember one time me and my foster sister were watching... Alien and we were supposed to be asleep, and my mum walked in right as the alien was at the very end of the movie, where the alien was going like that, and she walked in, opened the door, looked at the screen, looked at us, and closed the door, and I just died of guilt.
I don't really think that I watched anything like that when I was little. I remember my mum left me the video of Monty Python and the Holy Grail one time when I was young, and I guess that was older than I was allowed. And I also remember going to the cinema to see Mrs. Doubtfire, which was a 12 at the time, and I was only 11, and I felt very, very naughty about that. But then it was fine because the next week it was reclassified as a PG, so I thought it was all right in the end. But I certainly didn't watch anything like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre when I was that young.
I remember one time we tried to sneak into an 18 film at the cinema when
we were. Really? Yeah, I would have never done that.
When we were like we were over 15, but we wanted to go to see an 18 film, and the guy behind the counter was like, can I see some ID? And I was the one, I was like, oh, don't worry guys, I'll get the tickets. So I went up and I was like, oh yeah, 4 tickets for blah blah. And he's like, where's your ID? And I was like, oh, I forgot my ID. And he's like, what about your friend? I was like, well, yeah, we've all forgot our IDs. And he was like, you can't see this film without ID. I was like, 4 tickets for Tarzan then, please.
Anyway, so I think that Dom is being a fairly neglectful parent, but
I don't think he's doing an awful job, is all I'm going to say. He's doing the sort of job I would expect a single man who has had no experience with children.
Yeah, that's true. And he has seemed
he's not getting
relatively reasonable when he's come round to see Stu as well, hasn't he?
He's not like coming around going, I'm going to give her drugs next if you don't shut up.
But it looks like on Friday that he might have punched Eliza in the face because she shows up with a black eye. And she says, oh, it's just my Taekwondo class last night. I had a bit of an accident. But it all seems a little bit suspicious to Stu. What did you think? Did you think that she was telling the truth? I mean, we find out later that, yes, she was.
I think she should do Tai Chi instead.
Did you think that Dom had given her the black eye? I think it would have been more interesting if he had.
Actually sinister about Dom? Do you think it's going to be a big twist and he is evil?
Well, I mean, the thing, he offered to buy... He offered to sell Eliza to Stu, so there's definitely some level of neglect there, isn't there? There's something about him that's not a great dad if he's willing to accept £10,000 for his daughter.
I mean, how much can you get for a baby?
So Stu calls the social worker on Eliza, who eventually, through only a couple of conversations and a phone call to her Taekwondo instructor, finds out that the story was actually true. So when Dom comes round later, he's also heard from the social worker what happened, and he's not too pleased about that, but Dom says, look, don't worry. He's very reasonable. He says, look, I get it. I'd have probably felt the same thing if I were you. You were just trying to protect her. And Yasmin's, after Dom goes, tells Stu, you need to stop this obsession with him. It's nuts. Just let justice and let the courts decide what's going to happen, and just you concentrate on being a good granddad. But then, just for an extra sting in the tail at the end of the episode, she also finds this bill from the PI, and she says, oh, I will leave you if you carry on this. And that's what happened.
Why is this whole story just feels like a character assassination for Yasmin?
How do you mean?
Why is she just always flies off the handle, doesn't she?
She's not flying off the handle. She's the one that's being reasonable.
No, listen. She said to him, right, stop doing this now. And then she finds the letter, and then she gets mad at him as though something else has happened. But all that's happened is that she's found out. He hasn't done anything extra.
He hasn't done anything extra, but this is just reinforcing the idea that she already had, that Stu is obsessed, and she didn't realise just how obsessed she is. So she's saying, no, really, 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 is there anything else you got up your sleeve that you've been doing?
Well, I'm just overprotective with Yasmin because I know this makes her look unreasonable and a bit hysterical.
I don't think
Which I don't like that word, but I'm just saying that people that don't like Yasmin are not going to find...
Yeah, maybe.
This.
But I thought it was a
Yasmin
fairly
used
reasonable
to be...
reaction.
Okay, yeah. But I want Yasmin to be back how she used to be.
Mm. Do you think that Stu was at all justified in his anger towards Dom, especially like with the whole laptop thing?
I would be the same, probably.
I think I would be.
Listen, this is the thing, okay? You can empathise with everybody in situations. It doesn't mean that they're right or wrong, but you can totally understand why they've come to the decisions and emotional reactions that they've had. That's why this is interesting, because people are thrown into situations where they're at conflict with one another for whatever reason, and it is interesting to watch. It's just, well, not that interesting, unfortunately.
Not this story.
I don't know.
I think what I said earlier about it being very separate from everyone.
It's also because we don't know Dom. This would have been really interesting if we knew Dom better. And we don't know Stu, really.
I'd like to maybe see a few scenes set in Dom's house where we get to see what's actually going there. And
is he a nice dad, or is he crap?
Yeah, like...
I
want to see some scenes of him being neglectful, so I can be more on Stu's side, possibly, because I think we're supposed to...
Yeah, but is it supposed to be like, oh, I don't know? Or are we supposed to be like, Stu's right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess it depends on if you have kids as well. But also, just because you have kids, I mean, you won't let them watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. How old is she? 12?
Something like that.
That's fine.
No. Right, come on. Tim's story, Gemma.
Can I just say, I don't think I've ever seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think it's too yucky.
Yeah. I don't think I have either. Right, Tim's story, Gemma. Tim having his fishing.
This was decent. This was Monday. Good. Right, so Tim's still out of sorts, and you're not sleeping properly, and so...
He didn't have any flashbacks this week, at least, though.
Sally's like, you know how you're traumatised by a horrific serial killer that kidnapped, and that's the kind of thing that you might come across accidentally as a sort of trigger at a Halloween party? Why don't we go to a Halloween party? We should dress up. You can be a kidnap victim.
Is he going to be a sexy kidnap victim or a zombie kidnap victim?
Tim, you're already dressed as one. So
She says that just today, that take it easy, chill out.
No, don't go to work.
Watch the telly.
She's telling him not to go to work.
Yeah.
So Sally talks to Debbie in the cafe about Tim.
She says stay in and watch Zombies or don't worry. I'm kind of getting a bit fed up of that reference.
I love it.
Like, surely they must watch any other programme. Sometimes Corrie will drop in these references as if like a bit of a nudge to the fans, like, hey, we mentioned that thing. It was like Gary as well on Monday's episode mentioned his gold lame. Do you remember the bodysuit? And that was clearly just a line thrown out there for the fans to go, do you remember when Gary had his gold suit on?
They need to invent a new show, like Uptown Castle.
What's that?
Like Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
To watch.
I see. Oh, instead of Zombies, I thought I was still thinking of Gary in his bodysuit.
Yeah, he can be the lord of the manor. So she talks to Debbie, to Sally in the cafe about Tim's state of mind, and Steve's there as well. And so Sally says, look, you're his friend, you go talk to him. And so Steve agrees, and Sally's like, yeah, go now though, go right now. And Sally and Debbie are like, yes, good job.
Meddling complete.
Hooray! Steve shows up at number 6 and he's not very good at hiding that he's been sent by Sally. And he says, look, put your flipping pants on. I'm taking you on a mystery tour.
Going on a location shoot.
He's like, yeah, guess what? There's money in the budget. Hooray. And we don't have to bring our own folding chairs because they're supplied as part of the set.
We're going to go along to a lake, Tim, but don't worry, it's not a skinny dipping lake.
I thought they were going to float in each other's naked arms, like
like Paul
and Billy. So he's like, Steve takes Tim to this lake to take him fishing, and Tim's like, I don't want to go fishing. And he sort of tries to storm off, but Steve chases him and he's trying to jolly him along, but Tim doesn't want to jolly, and they end up going fishing anyway. And then they start talking about Bubbles, who is Michael Jackson's chimpanzee, and talking about if he's still alive or something. And then they look him up and he is. He's like 40. He's the same age as us.
No, I thought, was he? I thought it was old. I can't remember. Tim says, was it Tim or Steve says, I wonder if apes have midlife crises. It was a silly but kind of funny nonsense. And nice conversation that
it's the sort of conversation that you would have with your friend.
It felt
while you're
quite natural.
Fishing. Yeah, and so Tim then starts opening up and talking about his dad and how he always used to wear him down, and he doesn't want to go fishing because he's always sniping at him and saying he's doing everything wrong, and now he feels like he's letting everybody down. And then, completely out of nowhere, Steve starts. It's like, sorry, this is not about you, Steve. Tim was kidnapped. But Steve starts going, me and Tracy are having troubles. You know, it hasn't
Is that some drama that's been going on that we've not seen at all? Because the McDonald's clan really have not been in the spotlight for a while, have they? They were slightly during the rape story earlier this year.
Yeah, that's it.
But that wasn't really about Steve and Tracy. We don't really know how their relationship is.
Well, we're being told. This is the trouble.
It felt a little bit like
you shouldn't tell. You should show.
Yeah.
So anyway, Steve's
like, it made me feel like, have I missed something, or is this just the beginning of the flagging up?
Yeah,
watch out next year, coming 2024. Steve and Tracy go for a divorce.
Yeah, it's like they said we could have done 6 months of scenes of this, but instead we'll just get Steve to say things aren't good with me and Tracy.
Yeah. And they haven't been since Oliver.
And he says, and all the Aaron stuff. And then he starts saying, I can't believe he didn't...
he says he can't believe he didn't do more to
beat him up.
Beat up Aaron, basically, to
teach
Aaron a lesson.
Stop torturing yourself. And then Tim says, thanks for today, I've had a great time. And then he looks at him and says, you're my best mate.
Oh.
And then Steve's like, thanks. And then Tim's like... Huh?
It was really nice. No,
what about me?
No, he does. He says you're my best mate too. They both tell each other.
But he says you're top 5 or something. It was funny.
It was
funny.
Very pleasant.
And it was really appropriate to the characters. It was kind of a very kind of stilted, we're two men and we're not sure how to emote around each other.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was really touching and sweet.
Steve was just ever so slightly a bit too silly, as always, but on the whole, I think both of those actors did a really great job at just delivering a scene that was two mates, having a bit of a bond after an almost murder by a serial killer. You know, we've all been there.
Sort of funny thing that happens.
And it felt very realistic and true to life. So
Cherry
done.
On top of the cake was Tim's photo of himself with
with his little tiddler at the end of the episode. That was so funny.
Just Tim's delighted.
Was a great picture that Joe Dutton took of his
childlike glee that he's caught the world's smallest fish. It's probably illegal for him to take it out. Well, he throws it back, doesn't he?
Yeah, that was a really great end to the episode. It was so sweet.
Loved that. On Wednesday,
part of, we kind of did rag on Tim a little bit for all his flashbacks and just get over it, Tim.
No, I haven't.
But it was lovely to see him cheered up and chirpy by the end of the episode.
On Wednesday, Tim admits to Stephen Kirk that he's been looking at fishing equipment online, and he seems like super into it because when Gail and Sally have a meet up at Sally's house, because Sally's going to show her the Nigella strawberry cheesecake she's made, she opens up her Tupperware and it's full of what they call maggots, but are actually mealworms, and I hate it when they do this on TV. It really winds me up.
It's just because the
most annoying thing in the world.
I knew there weren't maggots as well.
We used to have lizards and we had to feed them mealworms.
So you're a mealworm expert.
And crickets. Anyway, so they have to get bright, like, oh, we're ladies, we can't touch
creepy
horrible
crawlers.
Things. Just throw the whole thing in the bin. If you're that bothered.
Well, they have to get Brian and Max to help them in
I'll tell you what they should have done. Put them outside and the birds could have eaten them. That would have been really good fun to watch. So Brian and Max come and help them disinfect the fridge. And Tim comes home and he's...
He kind of sheepishly takes away his tackle tin, doesn't he?
It's not a tackle tin, though. It's Tupperware that he's put mealworms in. Sally and Tim are snuggling on the sofa later, and he's saying he's into fishing, and then she says to tackle, and he's like, "Oh, sex," and they're about to get amorous.
There are one or two tackle double entendres in this scene, and
who can resist? Who can resist?
Yeah.
They're about to get more amorous when a load of these mealworms, aka maggots, fall out of his pocket, and she's horrified and is like, "Oh!" And he says, "Oh, I put them in my pocket to liven them up a bit." Man.
What?
Oh, man, what a way to end it. It was really good up into this.
I thought it was... Yeah, that was a bit silly.
What kind of idiot puts... Like, they're not maggots, but whatever you think they are, in your pocket? And also, how did they fall out? It just really annoyed me. That was dumb.
My low point of this, really, was Gail and Sally finding the mealworms, the maggots in the tin, and the silly faces that they were pulling.
No.
And then it turns out later that... I can't remember, was it Brian said that they were running around screaming outside.
Well, the thing that triggered me, apart from calling them maggots when they're mealworms, the fact that they fell out of his pocket for no reason, the other thing that annoyed me was the way that Sally said, "I've made a Nigella cheesecake, and because it's Nigella, you know there's a twist," right? No! Nigella is not known for twists. She's known for reliable, delicious recipes. She doesn't do things with a twist. It's not like, here's Nigella's cheesecake, there's a bomb in the middle. What are you talking about?
I was just a bit confused that did Tim literally put the maggots on top of the cheesecake?
No, he ate the cheese. He says this later, he ate the rest of the cheesecake.
Oh, did he? Oh, I missed that. Okay, and then he put his maggots in it. Why would you have maggots in the fridge?
Well, I don't know, but I think you might put them in there. No, I think that they just kind of go to sleep.
Oh, okay.
You know, like you do when you're cold.
Yeah. It was all right. It was quite funny.
They just ended it on a bit of a silly...
I like the line where Steve comes around and he's like, "It's good to talk," and then Tim's... I think it was this way around. Tim saying, "All right, Bob Hoskins," which is a proper throwback to the 90s BT adverts. Do you remember?
Fishing by J.R. Hartley?
No,
I'm just saying that's a throwback as well. You might as well throw that in.
Yeah, that's a Yellow Pages
and gone, have you got an ology?
Yeah.
Let's just have all of the slogans. Let's go round and slap people and say you've been tangoed. That's also fun.
Bob Hoskins is getting loads of name checks this year, not just in Corrie.
Is he alive?
No, he's died.
When did he die?
Too soon for him to be able to reprise the role of Mario in the Mario movie this year, I'll tell you that. Anyway, so that was all good stuff. More of that, please, Coronation Street. Maybe less of this next storyline, but I suppose it's building up to something. That Dylan gets a paper delivery, and Sean, because the Rovers...
It's just so funny.
What?
I I do love Corrie, and we always say that we want more slice of life things, but the fact that you introduce this whole story as Dylan gets a paper round is just kind of...
That's basically what it was, wasn't it? Because Sean hasn't got any money because one of his many jobs, the Rovers, has been closed down. And
well,
so...
No.
What?
They can't pay anyone at the factory.
Oh, yeah, they can't pay anyone at the factory, and he hasn't got the Rovers job, so it means that Dylan has to have a cheese sandwich for lunch.
I tell you what Sean can start with, cancelling his Ovid subscription to Ryan because he's not doing any more videos.
That's very true.
He was literally signing up for Ovids the other day, and now he's crying he hasn't got enough money to feed his child.
Yeah, maybe there was like a minimum 6-month subscription or something. And
I'd be asking Ryan for my money back if I was Sean.
He only signed up for Ryan. Anyway, Brian ends up giving Dylan a paperboy's job. Dylan's not very happy with this. Oh, this is when Debbie was butting into the conversation. I've got in the notes here. I can't remember what exactly she was saying, but I'm sure it was brilliant. And Rita is the one that actually gives Dylan the paper round job because Brian's going a bit hardball, isn't he? But the job's his by the end of the episode. And on Friday... Mason comes and finds Dylan doing his paper rounds and starts making fun of him, but then the next scene they're friends again on the inside and planning a party.
I'm not going to be made fun of by somebody who's named after a jar.
I just think that the way that he's got a very strange look to him.
But you don't like his hair, but that's how the boys like their hair now.
Is it?
They look like that funny bird, that cartoon bird that's just got feathers on its head. Do you know the one I mean?
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, so they're planning this party because while they're sitting in the lounge at number 11, they overhear Glenda telling George that she's going away somewhere, which means that his big house that we've not seen for about 3 years is going to be free for the weekend. But then later on, after the party organisation has already started, it turns out that it's not going to be free. George is going to be there because there's burglaries nearby. So Dylan says we're going to have to cancel the party then, but Mason says, no, people are already really excited about coming. I guess we'll have to have it somewhere else. What's going to happen there?
Oh, God. I can't imagine.
Is it going to be... I'm wondering whether they're going to go... You know, a few weeks ago in the Super Soap, we saw Dylan and Mason sneaking about in the Rovers. It wouldn't surprise me if they broke into the Rovers and had a secret party there. What could happen?
They won't be able to have a secret party, will they?
I suppose it can't be that secret.
For about 5 minutes.
Shh, everybody.
Stop having fun.
Yeah, there's nowhere that's in Coronation Street that isn't close to somewhere with it.
If they want to immediately kill the mood, they need to invite Sam and Eliza.
No, they're great.
No, they would immediately just tell everyone to be quiet and bring everyone down. And Sam can start talking about his dead mum and stuff.
I'm really not sure where this story's going at the moment. Mason's obviously the bully character. Liam's not around this week to be bullied. Do you think that Liam will want to come to the party, or do you think he'll think he has to go so that he can be with a cool crowd? And maybe it's not that inspiring, is it?
What's so compelling about Mason that everyone wants to be his friend? That's what I don't get.
He's just tall and grown up and cool. And that's about it.
I'm also old. Why doesn't Dylan want to be my friend? He can come round here. I'll give him some Cointreau. Anyway,
I've got nothing to say about that story because it was all the build-up for next week. But I'll come back next week when I also may not have much to say about it.
Right.
The Terminator.
The Terminator. On Monday, there's a bit of an awkward moment when Audrey and Peter end up in the cabin at the same time. And she's telling him, your days are numbered. But he says, actually, Audrey, I'm really sorry to let you know this, but I've got away with it.
Please let me go, innit?
Ken finds Audrey on Maxine's bench and she's sitting there with a sandwich looking miserable. And when she sees him, she's like, I don't even want to talk to you. I'm going to go to the station and tell them to reopen the investigation because I know that Stephen wasn't going to hurt Jenny and he dropped the bottle. And Ken's like, oh, please see sense, Audrey. Stephen's not around anymore. You don't need to protect him. Think about Peter. He is here and every day's a struggle because he's an alcoholic. I just want to say one thing here about Audrey. Everyone's being so hard on Audrey online. I've seen loads of really horrible, nasty comments about Audrey going, oh, won't she let it go? Why's she moaning about it? I don't get why people cannot see that Audrey is just latching on to anything that she can do. And maybe Corrie hasn't done a very good job of really delving too deep into this, but of course she's upset. Her son was literally run over in front of her face, and she'd already in shock because she found out all these terrible things about him. But then he gets run over, and she can't do anything about the fact he killed everybody, but she can do something about the fact that bloody Peter Barlow's the one that was driving the car.
Her reaction is totally
it's totally normal that she would hold a grudge for at least 3 weeks.
But they do have a nice makeup session, don't they?
Well, yes. But I just wanted to say that because I'm getting frustrated. Later on, Peter's on the phone to Toyah and it seems like they're going to meetings together, which I assume is a support group for people that have run people over or killed them in a car.
Clearly.
But Audrey buzzes in and she wants to speak to him, and he's obviously wary of this because he thinks she's going to have a go at him again for running Stephen over. But she says, look, life's too short for this feud. I don't want anyone else suffering for what Stephen did. And then she gets him to make her a cup of tea. And they apologise to one another, and she's like, look, please do not go back on the booze again. And he says, no way that's happening. I've got my friends and my family and they're supporting me. So that was nice.
That was another, it just built into it why we enjoyed Monday's episode so much. That kind of, do you think that's been put to bed now?
Yeah.
The great Barlow-Platt showdown that lasted all of 2 weeks.
I can't believe we didn't have like a spud slinging session on Christmas Day or something.
Yeah.
That would have been great fun. Because they, like I've said, they literally live 2 sides of the street. They could definitely have thrown a few potatoes.
Peter, in his head, is still traumatised by the fact that he killed Stephen. I don't think they really showed much of that this week. It was more last week.
Oh.
He was kind of making faces like he's upset about it, but I don't think it's over.
It reminds me, of when I killed Stephen. Now, I also want to say, a lot of people got really hung up on the fact that Audrey was stuck on the fact that Jenny told her that Stephen had said, I'm not going to hurt you. And everyone was getting really bamboozled as to why would Audrey latch onto this, because it's not evidence. She's not like a judge in a courtroom. She's a woman who saw her son run over, and this is extra proof to her that he didn't have to die. And if put yourself in her shoes, if you were already upset and thought it was unfair, and why would you ever think it's fair that your son got run over with a car to start with? Secondly, if you get literally told by somebody that he wasn't doing the thing that he was killed for doing, you're going to fixate on that, aren't you?
Yeah.
I get why people were saying, it doesn't matter because it wouldn't hold up in court because Peter didn't know. It's not about Peter. It's about Audrey knowing for a fact that he did not deserve to die in that moment.
Yeah. Oh, very, very understandable.
I think what Audrey did is completely understandable.
But I
thought she gave up on it quite quickly.
She did. It was a really lovely scene. I don't know whether I would have wanted the feud to go on for a bit longer. If they were really going to spin it out and have that as the big thing for 2024, then yeah, go for it. But if it was just going to be a little bit of sniping here,
it couldn't have only hung on.
It was nipped in the bud early enough.
Yeah. It couldn't have only hung on this. It would have had to have built. Yeah. Other things would have had to have built, and this would have been, the dirt inside the oyster that started off the pearl. But anyway, it's over now. But Peter's still obviously in turmoil. On Friday, he sees Toyah in the cafe, who offers him some reassuring words, and they start talking about him moving forward, and it's good that Audrey's forgiven him, etc. And she offers to go to a meeting with him later on. And I guess we're supposed to think this is an AA meeting.
I think they said it was. I thought they did. Maybe I'm making it up.
I just wonder why they're not saying outright.
What?
Well, they're not saying, I'll see you at the AA meet. I don't think I've heard them say that. I think something else is going on.
No, I don't know.
I think they're going...
I think we need to pay more attention.
I think Toyah is trying still on this Wasabi P thing. And she's got this marketing board that she's getting Peter to come with her for, to try to reignite the North's love of wasabi peas in
just
pubs.
Wasabi Peter.
Maybe she has got a meeting with this company that owns the pub, Waterford, and she's trying to convince them to take on wasabi peas at the pub. That's the only thing I can think of. Simon comes around to see his dad because his boiler's leaking, and he says, "Look, why don't we have lunch together?" And Peter's like, "Oh, I've got to cancel meeting with Toyah, so he phones her up and tells her. And then he plays on the Switch with Simon. So I forgot his name because he hasn't been in it. And Toyah comes over and she's like, oh, why don't you come over to another meeting instead? And he says, yeah, okay. And Simon doesn't hear this, but he's clearly wondering if there's something going on between the two of them.
Yeah, he's there in the kitchen bit, isn't he, looking very suspicious. Do you think there is or will be anything going on with Peter and Toyah in the next few weeks or months?
If you've only been watching Coronation Street for like a few years, you may be shocked to hear that Toyah and Peter actually were dating, and in fact this was how Toyah made her return to the show, when she appeared in bed with Peter completely out of the blue one day.
On Christmas Day, no less.
On Christmas Day, shacked up with Mr. Barlow.
So they've got
in
history.
Bed. So, and then they also went on to run the Rovers, and he was the landlord and she was the landlady, which is why I keep making jokes about Cyber Pete.
I'm not seeing any iota of romantic intent between either of them at the moment. Well, Toyah's just being really lovely and supportive.
I'm just
Peter's
thinking,
being grateful.
I don't know where this is going. This has got to be going somewhere bad, because nobody does anything nice on this show that doesn't get them in trouble.
I wonder whether Simon's going to suspect an affair, but there isn't an affair.
And Tyler's going to come back and go, what are you doing with my man?
I don't need another love triangle story, that's all. Maybe Peter will accidentally slip up and kiss Toyah, and she'll
something like
recoil.
That is going to happen, honestly.
Where's
Toyah's spider brooch?
Yeah.
When he gave that to her earlier in the year, I was like, great, we'll see that at Halloween. Nope.
Didn't even see Toyah on Halloween.
Nope.
Let's just quickly get to the end of it. I'm so tired this evening. So Michael's got his job back at the factory this week, basically. That's that story, isn't it?
Why is this money...
Because Dee Dee's had a bit of a moan to Sarah about it.
Returned to Underworld.
I don't know. I do not know what's going on with that. The police are being very, very slow in
This makes no sense. This makes no sense. I don't understand why this... I don't get it. Why...
Well, maybe Michael will make it come back now. Now he's back on the team there. Got nothing else to add to that.
Well, Sarah's the one that's actually done the most damage in the Stephen storyline to everybody, because if she hadn't kept her mouth shut, then Stephen wouldn't have been able to steal the money off Michael.
Very good point.
So shut up.
Okay,
shut up, Sarah.
That was this week's episodes of Corrie.
Really great. Monday's episode was absolutely great.
I think we've run out of steam with some of the stories, which just goes to show that it wasn't all as...
Well, there's 8 different stories, and normally in a normal week you get 5.
5 or 6 or so.
And there's one main story, and this was
the Ryan and cheating took over a lot of the week, and to me that was the strongest story, so that was good that it was the lion's share of it belonged to that, but it was a lot of the side stories weren't so great. The Tim fishing one, I was really ready to not enjoy, because I thought it was going to be, oh, here we go, Steve and Tim, they're just going to be stupid together, and it's going to be lots of attempts in the scripts about being funny, but it won't be. But I just thought it was really, really lovely and male bondy, and I thought that was great. And I was intrigued by Courtney's disappearance, but that was soon. My hopes were dashed when it turned out that it seems that Darren was telling the truth.
Right, does anybody like Courtney?
Aadi does. And that's that.
I'll take that silence as a no.
What score would you like to give this week's Coronation Street, Gemma?
That's a good question.
Well, you knew it was coming up.
I did, didn't I? No excuses there. Well, if it was all like Mondays, it would have been like a 4.5.
Oh yeah,
that was brilliant. But I think some of them, 3. I give it 3.
You give it a 3.
Tupperwares of filth, which was a great line. That was a great line.
3 Tupperwares of filth. I'm think I'm probably going to go higher than that. I think it was better than the 3. It was a real Monday set me up with such expectations hope for the week. I've learnt not to have expectations. One great episode of Corrie doesn't necessarily lead into another brilliant one. But they weren't poor by any stretch of the imagination.
Equally, there are just as many people that seem to watch Monday's episode and go, that was boring, nothing happened. We're silly scenes, no one cares. Yeah. So, Coronation Street knows they can't win.
I'm going to give this week's Coronation Street 3.5 Willy Swingers out of 5. And the half a Willy Swinger is... I don't know.
It's just an accident.
Yeah.
We won't don't draw attention to it.
An over-enthusiastic rabbi was maybe involved in that one. Character of the week.
I forgot about that one as well.
Yeah, we got to remember. We got to talk about this. I think Tim was quite good.
I know. I might have to give it to Tim.
I'd like to give it to Ryan and Daisy and Daniel, one of them, because that was the story that I was most engaged with. But I don't support their infidelities.
Oh no! Well, I mean, Bernie was great, just with her speech about sexy this and zombie that. I thought that was great. I'll give it to Tim because he's not going to get many chances with me.
Wow.
It wasn't so much him as a character, but the script and the scenes and the male bonding thing, I think, doesn't get a lot of screen time on any show. And so it's nice just to see two men being friends. Although I will say I do think Corrie's very good at that. I think Corrie's one of the few shows where they actually do have men being friends with each other, which I think is probably something they don't get enough credit for. Yeah. Do you not think?
Yes. I
mean, if you think about some of the best friendships on Corrie are, like for example, Steve and Lloyd were fantastic. Just sitting around chatting with each other. Women don't really tend to do that so much on Corrie.
No, they have Gail and Sally meeting up once every 6 months to say we're best friends.
They eat a box of worms.
Who should I get? Jenny was also good this week in her wise advice to Daisy.
Oh yeah, she was good. Definitely.
I think maybe I will give it to Daisy. Because I did find myself very intrigued a lot of the time during the week as to what she would do. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say Daisy this week.
Yes.
I'm glad that she did her best. Well, maybe not her best. She tried semi-hard to resist Ryan's charms, and the fact that she didn't just drop her drawers for him and leap into bed when the hotel was readily available for them. So some modicum of strength of character, I suppose. I was very engaged in her decision that she had to make. Yes, I'm going to give it to her.
And in the interest of equality, I'm going to say that Ryan is also a harlot and a strumpet.
But he's not cheating on anyone, is he? He's just enabling cheating.
But he knows he's cheating. He knows that he's a harlot and a strumpet.